Hello and welcome to Shoot the Shit with Squeegee. I'm your host, the Squeegee of Justice. You may know me as a partner and mod at Trial TV Live, but tonight I'm coming to you with a side broadcast, a place where you get to know me a bit better and I get to know you. So join me and let's go shoot some shit. Hello and welcome. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We have got a great show for you. We are going to be recapping the Sarah Boone, Ashley Benefield sentencing that happened Monday and Tuesday of this past week. I've got two fantastic guests on tonight. Jules, who was with me, my partner in crime at both of them, and Florida PI Sam, who worked on the defense side for Sarah Boone. And both of them have been on our show before, so we're looking forward to taking questions from you guys and recapping both the Boone and Benefield sentencings. So before we bring our guests on, let's do a chat check-in. Let's see. So we had a redirect today from a stream that it was the plea deal sentencing of Jamie Lee. What was her last name? Komorowski, yeah. I always screw that last name up. Anyway, we had a redirect. So therapist, you were first in the chat at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So OnlyFan, two of our great mods.
Therapist, is officially done with school.
Oh, therapist, you are officially done with school? Did you graduate? I thought that was.
No, that's the 13th.
Oh, that's the 14th.
14th, yeah.
Yeah. So therapist, congratulations. Whoop, whoop, for officially being done with school. Awesome. Therapist, has been on our show before. She's a fantastic mod as well. So congratulations on finishing school. And just so you guys know, therapist, is going for her master's. So let's see, unbalanced equation, another one of our great mods. He won't be on later for this, but OnlyFan says you can wait here for 6 hours till then. Funny. Julie, another one of our great mods. Ready for some fun tonight? Yes, we are. Trial Junkies United. Yep. Good to see you in the stream. Thank you. And Out and About with Diane. Thank you for joining us. Always good to see you. Tonight, let's see, we're doing fireside chat with Squeegee. It's cold here, guys. It was 34 when I woke up this morning, and it's 50 right now, and it's supposed to go down about 41. So it's pretty chilly. Pretty chilly.
It's funny because all the Floridians are cold.
Oh, the Floridian. Yeah. When I bring out, and there's Rafa. He wants out. So we will bring our guests out in 2 seconds. I just want to say hello to everybody. Out and About with Diane is working in Sydney. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate that. And all right, we're just going to let people kind of come into the chat. Baka of 3, good evening. Good to see you as always. Thank you, Baka. Sandra Oliver, thank you for joining us. Hello to you. And let's see, Sandra, Julie, Trial Junkies, you guys are all having a wild old time there.
Oh, Mike W.
Mike W. Oh, Krista Limited Edition. Hello. Thank you. Hey, fam. Good to see you as always. Thank you for joining us. And where's Mike? Where's Mike W? Oh, Sarah Kardashian. Hi, everybody. Looking forward to the discussion. Oh, my. I think he may want to go out. Should I let him out? It's cold. He may have to go to the bathroom. What should I do, chat? Should I let him out? It's cold. Lynn and SC, is that South Carolina? Because that's where Komorowski was. Capri Law, hello. Mindy FS. So the old mistrial, yeah, should we cover that? I don't know. I think we're a day or two late, but I guess we could jump on that. I'm not quite sure. Lucy Snakes Will Hiss, good to see you. Fran Harris, hi from Texas. Good to see you. Mel, hello. Thank you for joining us. All right. I don't see Mike W. Dr. Bullbutter. Delia Lynn, thank you for joining us. Jen Pookie. Mike W., there you are. That background looks so nice with a nice fire. Yes, doesn't it? It's nice and toasty. Jeannie Reisinger. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just shut up, Chris. Fran Harris, okay. All right, Melissa Webb. All right, guys, let's get started. Let's bring our guests out. First and foremost, in not any particular order, the Journey to Justice, evening all. I am going to bring Jules and then Florida PI Sam. So, Jules, why don't you introduce yourself? There's a lot of new people in our chat. If you want to introduce yourself and Tell us a little bit about you. Nope.
And all the Floridians look cold.
Everybody from Florida looks cold. Sam, you look cold. Oh, fuzzy tail. Henry. Oh, Henry. Oh, no. Still not. All right. Oh, wait. I just heard something.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Finally.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. How is everybody tonight? I'm Jules. And why do I hear an echo?
Oh.
All right.
Maybe it was Frankie. Come on.
He's a nut. I know. He's a nut.
That's great.
I don't know what to say about myself. Good Lord.
I'm sorry, but this is just going to be too funny if he does that all night, which I'm sure he will.
I'm Jules. I just go to court. I go to court and I watch trials and then I report on them. That's me. You guys know who I am.
Yes. Well, we have a lot of new people in our chat, and some people may not have seen you on our past shows, or you're on X and TikTok, correct?
Yes. Mostly X. I've kind of done a lot of slacking off when it came to TikTok, but I've been here many times, and I still appear on Nerd Report and Popcorn Planet and Legal Vices, Melanie Little, Uncivil Law. So if they need me for something, they'll get me in. Oh, Recovery Addict. Oh my God. How could I forget?
That's okay.
Sorry,
I was just going to say, and you call into Recovery Addict during the Sarah Boone and Ashley Benefield's.
And Maya. And Maya. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. All right. So you're a court watcher extraordinaire. You and I have covered the Sarah Boone trial in person. You're in court. I'm outside with the feed, plugging in, making sure it gets to our it streams to our people, and then other people have been using it. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, Florida PI Sam, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi guys. A little chilly in Florida.
Yeah.
I love it though.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I only have the jacket on because I left the slider open for Henry, hoping he won't,
do what Frankie's doing.
Me. Yeah, exactly.
Come at you with his paws flopping.
Well, we hear him sing often. He likes to practice his opera skills. My name is Sam. I'm a licensed private investigator in Florida. I have a law degree, and I work on criminal defense cases through the Justice Administration Commission in Florida, which pays private defense attorneys to work on cases for the indigent. So I was an investigator on Sarah's case way back.
Way back. All right, fantastic. And we will get to that. We will pick your brain and dissect all of that. So let's start, obviously, with Sarah, because that was Monday. She was Monday. Jules and I traveled to Orlando, and Jules was inside the court. Some of you saw that feed, and I was streaming from outside, plugging into the media box and sending the feed out via Scott's equipment. Recovery Addict was, again, gracious enough to allow us to use his live view streaming equipment, which is what all the other channels, Court TV, Law and Crime, all those guys, the local channels, Fox, ABC, NBC, all those guys. So Scott has that equipment, and he was gracious enough to allow us to use it. And that was back in October, and then we went for the sentencing. So we were using Scott's equipment again. So thank you, Recovery Addict, for that. We really appreciate that. Jules and I did a recap on Monday night, but we'll do another one. And I also, Sam, I want your perspective. You had a chance to watch the sentencing as well for Sarah? Okay, great. Let's start with you because Jules and I already did a recap, but we'll jump in as well. And I took a bunch of notes. So, Sam, why don't you first just give us your overall impressions, and we can kind of dive in and dissect it a little bit deeper.
You know, I want to say I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised. I thought that maybe we would see a little more emotion from Sarah, but she seemed very, like, her affect seemed very, very flat.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that Judge Kranick might have some words for her on how she treated, like, the court itself, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that George's family stuff was, of course, very heartbreaking. It seemed like the defense tried very hard to get some character witnesses in for Sarah, but, you know, there was nobody from before jail there.
Yeah.
You know, I think Sarah sank her own ship in the public perception before the trial ever even started. But I think what I guess I was most fascinated by was her statement or her testimony. Yeah, the things she read.
Yeah.
And Jules, somebody had said on somewhere I was watching that they thought that maybe Mr. Owens was trying to get her to not say certain things still while they were in the courtroom. Is that what you
Yes.
saw too?
Yes. He was. She had all of her papers, her edited papers, that he made her take stuff away earlier that day, and she handed it to him. He looked at it, and he was pointing to things and shaking his head on several pieces of paper, and she wasn't having it.
Yeah. Wasn't that what you asked him during his press conference? Was that? I believe you asked him that because I'm trying to think where else would I've heard that. And I think that was
Maybe it was you. I was watching you guys.
Yeah. Mr. Owens
and,
did a
and,
press
and
conference.
he confirmed, and he confirmed it, and basically he was like, Sarah's gonna do Sarah.
Yeah.
Right. He's that's the personality she has.
Right. And we were interested.
Way, she has her appellate attorney. His name is Alan Holland.
Ah, okay.
So good luck to you, Mr. Holland. That's all I'm gonna say.
And he was chosen. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, was he appointed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was he one of the attorneys on the Wade Wilson, not his appellate case, but the trial case? Because I thought he had one named Holland, but I could be wrong.
I don't remember, and I did watch that trial. I'd have to go back and look and check that out. Well, I don't know.
Normally, the trial level attorneys don't do the appellate work, so it could just be me mixing up names, which is entirely possible.
I cannot offer anything to that. I did not watch the Wade Wilson. If anybody in chat knows if it's the same, what's the name again, Jules? Adam or Alan?
Alan Holland.
Alan Holland. If anybody remembers that name from Wade Wilson, no. What's his name?
Wade Wilson.
Wade Wilson. I'm like, wait, wasn't that sounds like a football player, but yeah, okay.
I think it's the name of a Marvel character or something.
Oh, okay.
Deadpool's real name is Wade Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Sam. Mm-hmm.
All right.
I learned that from listening to other people talk about it.
There you go. All right. So, Jules, do you want to give your kind of overall perspective on Sarah, and then we can dive in deeper into.
Well, first of all, she scared the bejeebies out of me when she turned around with that great big grin and said, I love you. And Silas and I looked at each other like, because we didn't realize that the people behind us were her character witnesses. So we didn't know that that's who she was looking at, because it looked like she was looking directly at us, and Silas and I both looked at each other and we were like, what? And then I didn't know what to do. It was a very uncomfortable feeling. So I gave her a big smile back. But later I found out she was actually smiling at the women behind us. So that was kind of weird. I agree with Sam. It was the George's family. It was heart-wrenching because, I would look over, because I was on the defense side in that first row, and his mom, his sister, his brother, and I think it was another sister, or it may have been one of the cousins. There was 12 family members there, but they were all lined up in the first row. So all I had to do was go like that, and I was able to see their reactions, and it wasn't good. But what I was most shocked by was Sarah herself when she got up there. When she first started with the whole, what was it, Chinese, Japanese, whatever the heck that was. Yeah. I'm like, where is she going with this?
Right.
And then basically she was telling everyone she was the victim. I'm the victim, and I forgive you. And I just remember constantly leaning over, looking at the family, and it was unhinged. She was unhinged, and Judge Cranick did not take his eyes off of her, not once. And he wrote nothing down. So, and then as I told you on Monday evening, when she started blaming George's family, that's when the sister got up and crying and ran out of the courtroom. And then his mama got up crying and ran out of the courtroom. They came back more than 3/4, just before she was finally finished with whatever that was that she said. I don't think she did herself any favors, but again, like Sam, I thought the same thing. I thought Judge Cranick was going to address her like I've seen in so many other trials. When sentencing comes, the judge usually says, well, you didn't have any regard for this, or you didn't do that. So I was waiting for that. And when he didn't do it, when she sat down and said, he got right to it. I sentence you to life. End of story. Bye. We're done. That was it. And yeah.
Now, to backtrack a little bit, you said that Sarah was looking at the family. Was that when she was sitting, addressing the court, or when other people were talking, or both?
No. When she was on the stand.
When she was on the stand, she was looking at the.
And when she was reading her papers, when she would look up, she was looking directly at them.
Wow. Like so she was addressing them, essentially.
She was addressing them. She never looked at Judge Cranick.
Right.
She never looked at Owens.
Was anybody in the jury box, or no? I'm sorry to interrupt. Was anybody in the jury box, or was that empty?
No, that was empty.
That was empty. Okay.
Yeah. 2 of the jurors were there.
Okay.
I did turn around at one point and look at them. And the one juror in particular, I remember her specifically during jury selection. She was a tiny blonde, and she was, how do I say it? She was very enthusiastic, okay, during her questioning during voir dire. So, I looked at her, and she was like this, and she she had a smirk on her face and she was nodding her head up and down when Sarah was doing her thing, like, yep, got your number. Basically one of those.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to talk to them at all, Jules, or no?
No, I was not going to approach the jurors. I don't care that they were released. If they knew who I was, because before court started, we were out in the hall and the two of them were sitting together, and they knew exactly who I was. So if they wanted to speak to me, they could have approached me, and yes, I would have spoken to them. I was not going to approach them. Boots did, but I didn't.
Oh, did she? Wow. Okay. Yeah.
But they didn't talk to her. They didn't talk to her.
All right. Let's now we have a 30,000-foot view there. A recap. If you guys are okay with it.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You got a moment. You got to meet Peter, the lawyer you know.
Oh, I did.
And on his drive back to, I think he's over in Clearwater.
Yes.
He had a Sprinter van. He subscribed to you, shouted you out, remembered your name. So that was your big thing, right? You had wanted to meet Peter that day.
I just wanted to meet him in general, but that was highly unexpected. I was not expecting that. So thank you, Jules, for setting that up. Much appreciated. And yes,
he's
Sam,
such a pretty boy, and I mean that with the utmost compliment. You know, I don't mean that in a facetious way at all when I refer to him as a pretty boy. I mean that as the highest of compliments as you could get from me. He's even better looking in person than he is on stream. And he's
taller than I thought. We talked about that.
He is taller than I thought.
How tall is he?
I don't know why.
I kind of have no perception of how tall
he is. He was taller than me, and I'm about 5'10" on a good day when it's humid out. When it's so, I think he was probably, I guess, 6 foot. No, he's not huge, but he just was a little bit taller. I wasn't, unless he has lifts. I don't know. I didn't look at his shoes.
No. I promise you, I looked. He didn't have lips.
Sorry, Peter. We're not.
I did one of these.
We're just busting chops right now.
I did one of these.
Yeah.
I mean, you know
what? Maybe because because I'm holding my gimbal, I'm holding the phone, I'm streaming live, and then all of a sudden I see Peter show up, and Jules like, "Come over here," and we introduce ourselves. And
no, I didn't.
He was like a Greek Adonis. He was like this, So he could have been 4 foot too. I don't know. To me, he seemed like he was 7 foot. Go ahead, Jules.
No, I went over. I told him about you upstairs when we were out in the hall. And then he asked me. Yeah.
You said
and so then when he came down, and then I said, upstairs, though, I said, on your way out, if you go down the front of the court house, you'll see him. And he said, I can't make any promises, but if I see him, I will introduce myself. I said, okay. Yeah. But I got downstairs before he did. So when I saw him coming out the door, I was like, I got to do this for Chris. So I went out, I went over. I said, I know you're in a hurry. You got to leave, but can I have you for 5 seconds? I want to introduce you to Chris. And he said, sure, no problem. And he walked over. I introduced the two of them. They shook hands. And, it
was a moment. And Sam, to go back to your thing, yes, we're putting together this appeal for YouTube, and we found his clip, and he says, "Is that my guy, Chris? Trial TV Live? Is that my guy, Chris?" So I was like, and I went to that video. I commented, and I said, "Thank you so much for meeting me. You can always use our streams, going forward." Surviving the Survivor also used our stream, so I went there and I commented there and said, "Thank you for using our stream." Emily D. Baker used our stream for the press conference. Yeah, so we had a really nice grouping. I think Ian Runkle the Bailey, he also used the press conference. The press conference went over really
big names
really
in
big,
the legal YouTube world.
Yeah.
That's
So
fantastic.
we put all that into our appeal video. So hopefully
Great.
YouTube sees that and recognizes it on some level.
Well, I hope you included it in your appeal video.
Yes, yeah, that's yeah. We're doing that, and I'm gonna make a short of the introduction, the handshake from Peter. I'll make a short of that over the weekend, and I'll post that. Squeegee gets the squeege, gets the squee.
Yeah,
squeal.
because don't forget, I announced to the world that you have a man crush on him. So
Awesome. Now I have to live up to that. No, that was cool. Thank you, Peter. Highly appreciate it. And again, you can use our stream anytime you want. No problem. And you even called me brother, so I'll call you brother back. All right. Let's move on now, shall we? Let's get serious again. All right. So I took notes for Sarah. I have to admit, Ashley Benefield was a disaster, so I didn't take notes. I'm going to rely on you guys more for that. So first up was mom of George. And I said back in September, I was calling him Jorge, and I'm like, I'm going to go with what the family called him, and the family calls him George. So from here on out, I'm going to say George, even though that is like nails on a chalkboard for me. But anyway, so George. I will honor the family if they called you George. So George's mom spoke first. And she didn't have any notes. She was pretty heart-wrenching, but the very first thing out of her mouth was that she did not hate Sarah. And did she say she forgave her, or she just said she didn't hate her? She did say she forgave her.
she
think
said,
she said she
I
forgave
don't
her.
hate her. Yeah.
I don't hate her, and I do forgive her. Sam, did she say I forgive her? I forget now.
I want to say yes, but you were in my live stream Saturday, and you know how bad my memory is. So I know she said that I don't hate her.
Yeah. Okay. So let's land on that.
But,
so she
but
definitely
at
said.
the end, she got her good.
What did she say
At the end of her statement, Mama Torres got Sarah good at the end of her statement.
Refresh my memory. What did she say?
At the end, her closing remark was, I may not have my son anymore, but I had his love. We loved each other. I have my children, my grandchildren. I'm blessed with that. I'm blessed with having a relationship, and they're in my life. Sarah no longer has that in hers.
Yeah.
That was a smackdown.
That's a knife in the heart for sure. Yeah, because they were soulmates, right? Sarah and George, they were soulmates, and yeah, she would go on and on about that. So
her George's mom's recitation, I guess, which was sort of made to the court instead of to Sarah, I thought was way more powerful. If you watch a lot of victim impact statements, people are often cursing the defendant, and they have a right to say what they want to say, but it doesn't. And I mean, I mean no disrespect, because I'm sure, the years a case takes and the amount of stuff that's pent up. But I thought that by not addressing Sarah and by addressing the court, she was very effective.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah. There was an impact statement we saw today, the biological father of Samantha, who was killed by Jamie, and he was like, I hate you. I'm going to see you in hell. I'm going to open up the gates of hell when you get there. And he really let her have it in a way, like just to compare and contrast, where Mama Torres was like addressing the court, was very gracious. The biological father was like looking right at Jamie and just throwing up on her.
I had one in a trial in 2016 where the victim's family had already been thought to have shot the defendant once.
Wow.
And they basically got up on victim impact and said, yeah, we did shoot you, and we will do it again if necessary.
Wow.
So he was retried and found not guilty. His family had him out of town before the sun came up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was like, they just admitted to doing that.
I know, right? Jeez. Well, yeah. All right, we'll get to your questions in a second, chat. Let's just get through a few of these impact statements. So, okay, so Mama Torres, we're good with her. We'll move on to the next one. Any final comments on Mama Torres? Feel good about her? Okay.
She was very strong to have done that.
She was a mess a lot of times, rightfully so, but she was very strong. She was emotional, but she was
Very genuine though,
she
and
hung
not
tough.
like the "I'll meet you at the gates of hell" type thing.
Right.
So, like I said, I think she was
Yeah,
impactful.
graceful, grace, a lot of grace, a lot of
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
humble, yeah. So then next up was George's sister, Victoria Torres. And the thing that struck me was that she said a suitcase is triggering to her. She can't look at a suitcase. When she closes a suitcase, she can't close it all the way. And that just has stuck with me and has haunted me. It's like just the simplest thing, like usually you think of a gun, a knife, a bomb, but this is a suitcase for crying out loud. It'd be like a book, looking at a book,
Right.
somebody used a book to kill somebody. So a suitcase, you can't even deal with that. So what did you guys think about her statement? Sam, do you want to go first?
I think that was a pretty powerful thing to say as well, because she was addressing how she was, how it had impacted her life again, instead of just cursing
Right.
Sarah out.
Mother effing them.
And
Yeah.
I'm not shaming anybody who does the cursing out thing. It's just interesting to see how different people approach it. And you're right, that suitcase, when she talked about that was that was a big deal, because I thought about that. I was like, yeah, that would be really freaking hard.
Yeah. There's a few things in this trial that have just stuck with me probably for the rest of my life. That was one of them. The other one was seeing that other video with George, and he just looks like a dog that she's just beating on. And he's like, Sarah, Sarah, and she's like, that's my name. Don't say it out. I mean, we literally saw the precursor to the night of, so those two moments, and I think what struck me with the sister was that it's just, again, it's not an everyday item, but it's such a
common,
innocuous. Yeah. It's just it'd be like a glass. I guess if somebody killed somebody with a glass bottle, you can never look at a glass bottle the same way again, so. Jules, what did you think of Victoria's statement? Frankie, what do you think of it?
I was impressed with the restraint that she showed, because there were moments where I thought she was going to turn around and look at Sarah, and she didn't. She was looking up at Judge Cranick, and she made it clear she was no longer making it about Sarah. She was making it about herself. And by her doing that was very impactful, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
Yeah. She was, because everything was about Sarah. And I think by his sister, I mean, his mom made half of it about Sarah in the beginning and at the end, in the middle, she didn't. But the sister did not go there at all. She made it strictly about herself, what this has done to her. The literal nightmare that she took, in my opinion, she took the wind out of Sarah's sails, appropriately so.
Yeah. And she was emotional too. They were not stoic, they were definitely emotional, and letting the court know, and letting us know. And I guess Sarah as well. All right. So then we move on. Let's get through. Let's get through Sarah. So Sarah. I'm sorry. Let's get through George. So then there was Anna, who was the daughter, because then it was only those three that spoke. Then it went over to Sarah's side. So Anna was the daughter, and she piped in via Zoom, and Again, I thought she was pretty powerful. I don't have any notes specifically, that jumped out at me, but I thought she was very straightforward, very gracious. She was angry. I think she was the most angry out of the two, if I remember correctly. Jules, we'll start with you. What do you think about Anna's statement?
I'll tell you this. She showed great restraint in her impact statement because I happened to see an interview with her prior to this.
Okay.
And she made no bones about it. No, we didn't like her. None of us liked her. I mean, and she was going off. So compared to what I saw from that interview and her impact statement, she definitely showed a lot of restraint, and she kept it short and to the point. She made her point, and then she was done.
Yeah, she was done. Yeah. Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking about that whole family and how they all referenced each other, and being, still having each other and having good memories of George. But I was also thinking about George's brother, who just unalived his either girlfriend or baby mama recently, and that whole mess. And I just felt really bad for the family as a whole.
I know. Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I think they all showed a lot of grace and a lot of strength. And they didn't make it about Sarah. They kept it about themselves and about George.
Yeah. And his fluffy tail. I see your fluffy tail and I raise you one.
Yeah, I think yours might be fluffier.
They have each other, and I think they're fairly large. I think he had like 6 or 7 siblings. So, and then grandchildren and cousins. So it's a large family. So it's not like it was 1 or 2 kids and, then it becomes something different. So I think they're relying on each other to get through a very, very terrible situation. And then, like you said, his brother as well. So they've lost 2 people essentially. All right, let's get to some questions. Aaron, you want to pull up some questions? Because that was the end of George's side, and then we'll get into Sarah's side. But let's pull up some questions, comments. Mike W. Jules, you are a much better person than me because I would not have smiled back. Okay, so this is referencing at the beginning when Sarah turned back, and we all saw that on the stream. I remember in chat was saying, "Oh my God, who'd she just say that to?"
Oh, you did? I didn't know that. I didn't know the camera had picked that up. Listen, I didn't do it because I wanted to. I did it because I was in a state of shock. Like you don't know how to react. So I'm sitting there and I just went, and so did Silas. I mean, we both did it and we both looked at each other like, we didn't know what to do. It was off-putting.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike W., I would have given her the most sassy, bitchy look I could muster.
I didn't want to get thrown out of court.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike W., for that. Let's see, do we have any? We'll pull up a couple more. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike W. Sorry. Pay attention, Chris. Mike W. would have loved to have seen how Judge Newman would have handled Sarah's rant. Now, who's Judge Newman?
Oh my gosh, you don't know who Judge Newman is?
Just refresh my memory already. Who?
Alex Murda.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I don't think Judge Newman would have let Sarah do that.
No.
I really don't. I don't think Judge Newman would have.
He would have had something to say. I really liked Judge Newman. I think most of us did.
Yeah.
I do remember. Yeah, I do remember. So this is Polly, just so you guys know. We call her Polly because you see her ear fuzz because she's like
the stripes Polly, like I do.
Yeah, Polly
white
Gutierrez. Gaultieri from The Sopranos. OnlyFan, one of our fantastic moderators. I think if Kranick decided it's useless to address her remorse or lack thereof. So that's why he just didn't even bother. Agreed. Jeannie, I think Judge K didn't waste a didn't want to waste his breath on speaking to her?
It's Jenny.
No.
Yes.
Jenny?
She was my co-host the other night. I know. I spent like the first month of seeing her on screen calling her Jeannie. It's Jenny.
Jenny. Okay. You know, it's really funny because I have a really good friend named Jenny. She spells it differently. So now I've got that in my head.
Jenny. Mhm.
Jenny. Okay. Jenny, you can.
It's taken me a long time
hate
to
me.
cure myself of
I'm so sorry. Jenny.
that as well.
Jenny. All right. Yeah, but I agree with you, but then I'm going to counter that of like, I think a judge does need to, you know, smack the defendant if they want to be, you know, if they need to be smacked. What do you guys think?
Well,
I mean, I've seen it happen. This is the first time I've seen it not happen.
Yeah.
But I think that he had it up to here,
Mhm.
and he wasn't going to, because let's face it, we all know Sarah. She's the victim.
Mhm.
So I think had he done that, that would be one of the things that, you know, she would throw out there for her appeal. So I think he just wanted to be done with her and not give her any type of leeway that
Mhm.
she could use against him.
All right, fair enough. Sam, what do you think?
I think he did it to just kind of take the wind out of her sails because he's had to respond to her, you know, and all of her goings on for so long now. And I thought that was way more telling than anything he could have said.
All right, fair enough.
But, you know, usually judges comment on the lack of remorse. But, I mean, with Sarah, it's kind of pointless because it's been all about Sarah since day one.
Yeah, agreed.
And I mean, really from day one, because
yeah, I agree. Real Happy 33 says, so glad she's had her final curtain call. I agree. We'll take one more, then we'll move on. Haley Mouse says, I think Sarah would have been annoyed that they didn't address her. Everything is about her. She would have been annoyed if they didn't address her. Yeah. No, I agree. Everything is about her.
Yeah, that's
All right,
true.
so it is true. Okay, so that ends. Okay, so it was Mom, Victoria, and Anna that spoke for George, and then we got into Sarah's side, and it started with the chaplain at the jail. Her name was Diane Smith, and again, she met Sarah at the jail, so she's known her since 2020. Jules, you want to start us out on your impressions of the chaplain?
No.
I know. I'm trying to think.
I mean, what can I don't mean any disrespect to the chaplain, but let's face it, all inmates find God.
Yeah.
I mean, every last one of them, you know, when it comes to their sentencing and they want to have something to say, I found God. When they're up for parole and they're in front of the parole board, I found God. I mean, it's like
that's supposed to make everything better, you know.
So she completed a year in her Christian course, and then she helped other inmates. Sarah was so helpful. The chaplain did nothing for me. I'm sorry. She was not effective, in my opinion.
Sure. Sam, what do you think?
I didn't know that Sarah had gone into like the Christian dorm or the Christian program or whatever that was. But after I thought about it, and I thought about the sort of religious overtones that her people had, I thought that was probably a very calculated move on Sarah's part. Because, you know, they could all say how great she was because, you know, she can play a role. You give her a role to play, right? And in terms of being in a faith-based community inside of jail, because even in county jail with people rotating in and out, she was there for over 4 years. You know, you have to carve a way forward for yourself. And what is a, you know, middle-aged white lady who accidentally killed her boyfriend with a suitcase, where is she going to fall in the hierarchy? you
Right.
know? And so I didn't think, I agree with you, Jules. I didn't think that the pastor did all that much, or the chaplain, sorry,
Mhm.
for her. I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, well, okay.
Right. Right. I agree. I don't have any notes, so it really wasn't much to me either. Other than, yeah, she was the first one out of everybody else that was saying how great Sarah was, and she, you know, is doing this and did that, and she's this wonderful person. And yeah. But did she ever try to put you in a suitcase, Diane? I think that was generally the question everybody.
Wanna play hide and seek?
Or did you want to play hide and seek? Yeah, that was the question that everybody was asking of everybody. So next up was Christina Pena. Pena. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. That just reminded me of something that I do not want to remember. She was an inmate in the cell for 3 years, and we thought this might have been the girlfriend. Right? I
Right.
think Chat
This
was
was
saying
not
this
the
is
girlfriend?
No, the girlfriend wasn't there.
I know, but everybody that walked up that said I was an inmate in the cell were like, "Oh, is that the girlfriend? Is that the girlfriend?" So she was
So
not
the
there.
girlfriend did not come?
No, she was a no-show.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. So she left in April 4th. She came out, and the thing that stuck out for me because I wrote it down was she's like, mistakes happen. That in defense of Sarah, she said, you know, Sarah's this great person. You know, she's found God and she helped me through all this stuff. I was going through this terrible time in jail, and Sarah helped me. And you know, mistakes happen. And I'm like, what? Serious? So, Sam, what did you think of Christina's?
To be honest with you, the two former inmates seemed kind of interchangeable to me, and
Yeah.
I didn't feel like they had anything noteworthy to say. I felt like they were both just kind of trying too hard. I don't, it didn't, it kind of fell flat for me, both of them, to be
I
honest.
agree. Yeah. Mariella was the other one. Jules, what do you think about
I'm-
Christina? Anything jump out at you
Well,
with her?
I'm going through my Twitter post so I could refresh my memory on who was who. She was Sarah's bunkmate,
Yes.
and she stated that they were best friends, and that that they were best friends, and that she helped her, picked her up when she was down. She said that Sarah was helpful to everyone in the dorm. And she said Sarah was like a big sister to her, and that they helped each other with their court cases.
Yes. Thank you for that refresher. Yeah, I remember all that now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And did that move the needle for anybody?
I just think it sounds like Sarah took charge and Sarah was bossy, and none of that surprises me.
Yeah, and a lot of chat was saying that then, and there's some people in the chat now that was saying that now of like these people were down and out, and Sarah was able to boss them around, manipulate them, control them, and basically, you know, say, I'm the best person you've ever met, you will ever meet. And then they came to say that for her.
I can't see chat unless I'm right up on it. So,
yeah, okay. I can't see the chat either. So,
all right, we'll pull some of them up. Do you want to see chat? Do you want to see chat? You want to pull some up? Pull some up.
No, I mean, I just you were saying that chat was saying some things right now. Yeah, I like this of Capri Law.
Capri Law. The inmates who spoke were missing something in life that Sarah pounced on and used. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
You are absolutely
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Map says definitely made me want to release her. Can't incarcerate a good bunkmate. Definitely made me want to release her. Yeah. That's a good one. Oh, legal minded friends, Karen Cole. Hello. I'm struggling to stay up. I know. What is it? It's like 2 o'clock over there for you. I was up early and I was filming in town for a future video, and I captured a woman stealing a coat. Wow. Police want my video. Interesting. Are you going to
way to go?
Yeah, you're going to be part of a trial. Nice. All right, we'll pull up one more. K-Swan, I think Sarah found her family in prison and will fit in and control them like she has done, like she's done everyone. Yeah.
In county jail, I would say yes. I think once she gets actually to prison, it's
Yeah.
going to be a whole new ball game for her.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Sam, do you want to talk about that? You have a little bit more experience than I do, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, I think Jules is right. You know, the thing about county is it's not meant for long-term housing. The fact
Right.
that it is housing people for as long as it is something that is high on my irritation list. I was just talking with my colleague about that today.
Mm,
But so county is going to be more transient by nature, right?
right.
People in and out, in and out. So the fact
Right.
that she had the same bunkmate for 3 years is really interesting to
Mm,
me.
yeah.
But Jules is right. When she gets to prison, it's going to be a whole different ball game because everything there will be much more established,
Hmm.
you know, and there will for sure be a hierarchy,
Yeah.
and they will take
Yeah.
a classification officer will probably take some time. I think they take at least 30 days to kind of evaluate and decide where to put you.
Hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what act Sarah puts on one.
Oh, where'd Sam go?
Sam,
I'm still
what
here.
happened?
I
That was
didn't do
weird.
anything.
I know.
Okay.
I don't.
Must be my eyesight. I can't see very well.
No, I did disappear, but I actually didn't touch anything.
I know.
Let me ask
Polly
you
was
this.
kind
I'm
of on the
sorry.
keyboard, but I don't think she.
And Henry's
Anyway,
outside.
Sam,
Polly was kind of on the keyboard.
in regards to the prison aspect of it,
Mhm.
correct me if I'm wrong. When she walks in there, the pecking order has already been established,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
she's everybody else is up here and she's down here. And
Mhm.
we know Sarah's personality. And I really think that when she gets in there, she thinks that she's going to walk in at the top and
Mhm.
she's going to be in for a really rude awakening. And I don't mean to bring race into this.
Yep.
So don't take this the wrong way. But because of the fact that George was Hispanic, all of those Hispanic inmates in prison, I don't think they're going to look very kindly at her, because don't think that they don't know who she is when she gets in there. They're going to know, they already know who she is. They're already sitting back waiting for her to come.
Right.
Sam, what?
That's why her, you know, her time spent being evaluated or classified or whatever have you, that's going to be really important, because if she tries to portray a role of puts an act on, right, and they place her based on that act, that could be really detrimental. You know, I feel like Sarah takes on personalities, if you will, or demeanors, or something. You know, she'll sit across the table from you with her hands folded and say, yes please, and they hated me. And then we'd see her in court, you know, yelling up and down at everybody about the unfairness of her situation. And now we're hearing about how she was in this faith-based program. So I'm just wondering, you know, what behavior she will fall back on, and what the
Right.
outcome and the consequences that will have for her.
Yeah.
And there's only, I think I looked this up, and I think there's only 3, maybe 4 prisons in Florida that house women.
Somebody asked if we knew which prison she was going to, and I don't think we know that.
We
Yeah.
don't know
No,
that
and she
yet.
may still be here.
Yeah.
It's not like they put them on the bus that night. You
Oh, you
know,
said
I've
30
got
days to evaluate. Is that evaluation
when
happen?
she gets there. So
Oh, okay.
so
Okay.
right now, it's usually within a week to 10 days that they get moved out. But
Okay.
like, I have a guy who's here in county from the prison system, and he
Mhm.
called me and I was like, where are you? And he said, oh, I'm still in Hillsborough. I was like,
Mhm.
what? Because they should have shipped him back already.
Mhm.
And like, the paperwork didn't get done. And I've had
Okay.
other people like that too. One guy was supposed to go to death row, and he sat here for 6 weeks before they shipped him off.
Okay.
So she's
I would
probably
think
still in Orange County right now.
correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, but like they don't ship one at a time. Like would they wait for like 10 people to be sentenced and then they ship them as a group, or do they
That
literally
could
ship?
be.
They,
I honestly really don't know.
you don't know. Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't know, but you are right in that it's not going to be like a direct thing. I feel like
Mhm.
when they transport prisoners throughout the state, it's like a Greyhound bus almost, right? You get on and you're
Right.
subject to every stop along the way.
Right. Right.
It's not a direct where are my words? It's not a
Conduit
direct
or
connection, if you will.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking like just from a logistics standpoint, you get sentenced today. Just think about the person power and the gas
Mhm.
that's spent to ship them. They should just wait, say every 2 weeks or twice
They
a month,
probably
whoever gets
do.
convicted, and it would just
That's
from a personnel
usually
standpoint.
how they do it, Chris.
Yeah.
They go out in a group.
Right. That's
Mhm.
what I would think too.
Yeah,
Again,
I
just
know they go through like they'll go through a long run,
yeah.
and be picking up people and dropping people off along the way.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so let's move on. We did Christina, and then there was Maria Ella Hill, and she was also an inmate in jail. She was there for 3 months, from April until June of this year. And again, it was kind of like you said, Sam, that the Christina and Maria Ella, beautiful name. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right, but they basically said the same thing. They were interchangeable, where they said
They
Sarah
were
was the best.
interchangeable. That's a
Yeah,
very good way of putting it.
yeah. Oh, those were your words,
Oh,
Um,
I told you my memories. Oh my God.
yes, it was such a fantastic thing that you said.
Thanks.
But yeah, so again, they basically said the same thing, that Sarah's, she helped me when I was down, and that she's the best friend, and I needed this help on that, and this help on this and that, and she's wonderful, and give her 2 years instead of
And mind you,
you know
she was only incarcerated for 3 months.
yeah.
And weren't her charges dropped or something?
Yes.
Were they? I didn't catch that. I forgot that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Her charges were dropped. She was released. She was only incarcerated for 3 months, but her and Sarah were best friends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
3 months it took them to become, well, I guess if you're an inmate, and you're sharing, 10 by 10 room with somebody for 3 months.
They're in a dorm though.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Educate me
So
on
they're
that.
bunk mates. They're not cellmates. Like
Okay.
the way that I understand the Orange County Jail and where Sarah was, it's a dorm. But I haven't seen, when I went in there to see Sarah, we met in like the break room,
Okay.
where there was there were tables and chairs and stuff. It was like the staff break room.
Uh-huh.
So when she says dorm and bunks, and what I gathered from her hoarding of different kinds of personal property was that it was not a cell situation.
Okay.
It was an open dorm with bunk beds, which would suck.
Okay.
I mean, all of it would suck, but I would think that would really suck.
So this room might be 30 by 30 or so, and then there's like 100 people in there, but you're
Could
bunking
be. I mean,
room?
it could be. It's
Or like a barrack, like an army barracks or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like that.
No, I
Like
got
that.
that. Okay, I got you. All right. Only then says, oh, go ahead. Yeah. Oh, good question.
No.
Will she be on self-harm watch since she got life?
I would say yes, because her very last line that she spoke to Mr. Owens was, "I can't believe he gave me life."
Mm.
That was what she said to Mr. Owens.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Owens was and left. He hightailed it out of court.
Yeah. Sam, you spent time with her, what, about 6 hours or so? 8 hours?
I would go with, I went there at least twice, and that was at least 4 hours each time.
Okay, so 8 to
So I'm
8
going to say
plus.
8 is probably a good number. I'd have to go back through my records. Clearly, I can't remember anything.
That's cool. You're all good. So I know that was probably 3 or 4
That
years
was
ago.
in, I want to say that was in 2020.
Okay, so 4 years now. Obviously, a lot has changed. People change. She has seen a lot
Sure.
since then. Do you think she is capable of offing herself? What do you think?
No, I don't. Not even a little bit.
I would land on that side of it as well. I don't think she's going
Not
to do it.
even a little
but-
bit. I
But
have
you actually
listened.
know her, so
I'm sure you're going to get to her statement, but I have listened to that several times over, and
Mhm.
her opinion of herself is too high. No, I would not think she would do that. I'd be
Yeah.
shocked.
I agree with you. I don't think she would do that either. And for those very same reasons. However, I do think that they will put her on a suicide watch when she first gets there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, she's going to be under scrutiny anyway. I mean, that's what they're
Mhm.
doing. They're doing all these evals on them to classify them, determine where to put her,
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, Haley Mouse. No, she's too selfish for
Yeah,
that. I agree.
exactly.
Yeah, everybody else is saying that as well. Yeah. She
She's
is made of gold, Marley
Well,
Norman.
she shines. She shines.
Yeah. It was a vase that cracked, but then they healed it, if you will, with gold.
With the gold. Yeah.
Jenny says, I think she is too much of a narcissist to off herself.
I agree, girl.
Yeah. Trial Junkies United. Objection. She might get stabbed by someone else. She might. Oh, and I was going to, Jules, you said you're not going to bring race into it. I was going to say she said some pretty disparaging remarks about George and yeah. So.
And don't think that those inmates at the prison don't know what she said.
Yeah.
It's like a pipeline, Sam. Am I incorrect? They know.
No, they know.
Do they have access to like YouTube? Do they watch videos?
They
or
can't. Well, technically, no, they can't. But they know so much stuff. It's crazy.
But people talk, and
even even in the county jails, because they have a lot more access now than they used to. So they get access. If they've got money, they get access to a tablet. It's not going to be like an iPad.
Right.
It's smaller, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they can log on. It costs them 5 cents a minute, but they can message. So like I got yelled at for not answering my other phone. And I was like, well, my guys usually message me.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't want to answer the phone because your son blew my phone up for 60 times in a row. That's why I quit answering.
Right.
But they have a lot more ability to communicate, and they do. They talk a lot. They know who their lawyers are, who each other's lawyers are. They know, like, I have guys in county that, we represent a bunch of different ones, and they all know each other and all the stories and the whole nine. So yeah, the work will get to them.
Absolutely.
100%. And the Hispanic community is not going to be happy with her. Not at all. I mean,
I think
she murdered one of their own, and then she disparaged
the entire family.
Yeah. And it wasn't just the family. It was Hispanics. I'm pretty sure she said some pretty nasty things about them, I think, in one of her videos. K-Swan says she will be cell boss before long. Yeah. We'll see.
She wants to be. I'm sure she'll want to be.
All right. So then we came to Sarah's bestie, Lana or Lena. I'll go with Lana Albert.
It's Lana Albert.
Lana Albert. So she lives in Minnesota. She's known Sarah for 11 months. She's a true crime fan. Sarah offered a kidney because she had a condition where she needed a kidney. So Sarah offered her kidney. And the thing that struck me the most was that Sarah was so upset about when she got convicted. Sarah was so upset about she wasn't able to donate a kidney to Lana anymore. And to me, I was like, so Sarah was more upset about not being able to donate a kidney than to actually killing another human being.
Wow.
So, Jules, let's start with you and your notes. What do you remember about Miss Lana Albert?
Lana Albert vilified social media.
Mm-hmm.
And YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And blamed.
But if she's a true crime fan,
she may be watching. So hello, thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel, Lana.
That's kind of contradictory.
Well, I guess she's already
right. But
I mean,
no, I'm glad. No, because you're right. I mean, you're absolutely right. it made no sense because
Yeah.
she started out with, I'm a true crime, and
You
don't
would
take
have only gotten to Sarah.
but that's the term she used. I'm a true crime junkie.
Yeah.
Right, but you wouldn't have gotten to Sarah through Dateline. You wouldn't, you would have gotten to Sarah
Through YouTube.
through YouTube. Exactly.
Yeah.
Through the same way everybody else did. Sarah,
Right.
yeah. So to vilify social media is kind of contradictory because
That's the conduit. That's how you found out, you know.
we all well, I know you all knew each other before, but like I met you and like 99% of your chat because of Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, I will say this, she did give her condolences to the
Yes.
family.
Yes.
Okay.
She was
She
the
is
only one that
the
did.
only one who did
Wow.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
that.
I caught that too. I need to
Okay.
take
Yeah.
notes. Clearly.
And again, regurgitating, what a kind and caring person Sarah is, and how Sarah took in a blind dog and a deaf dog.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
She said that again. All right, you already spoke about the kidney, and then and she ended her statement with, she wanted to make it very clear to everyone, because on social media, everyone is referring to Sarah as a narcissist. And she states that Sarah, and I put it in big letters, is not a narcissist.
Yeah.
So that was
because she offered a kidney.
Because, yeah.
But I think that was a very self-serving thing.
Listen. I think, Lana, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but you're about to hear some brutal truth here. I think Sarah uses this woman. I think that I would not surprise me to find out that Ms. Albert was putting money in her commissary account. It just would not surprise me at all. I
bet you're right.
Yeah, I think Sarah picked up on
her sympathy for her, or her empathy for her, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she took Ms. Albert for all she could, and then of course, wanting to speak up for her. So there you have it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my thought in any case.
No,
she was
I agree.
eloquent.
Well, I want to get to that because she spoke off the cuff, but then she also read a prepared statement, and I think the prepared statement sounded like, a Sarah Boone. Yeah, it sounded like a Sarah Boone letter. So I don't know. And chat was saying it then. Maybe I think some people are saying it now. I think Sarah either A, wrote it, or certainly B, helped, formulate some of those words. So, and it was the phrasing. It wasn't just certain words. It was just the phraseology, the grammar, if you will, the phrasing of how it was written. Bap says, yeah, she offered a kidney she never have to give in order to gain Lana's loyalty, but I think Lana wanted to be part of this, so she doesn't care. Yeah.
Yeah. I can get on with that.
Yeah. Sneaky side, as someone who worked in a hemodialysis unit and for a transplant clinic, I call BS. Lana knows her blood type. Sarah would have to know when she was admitted to DOP. Oh, so yeah, so you're right. So now, Sneaky, I think you said that earlier, something about, you have to be the same blood type. So if they didn't know each other's blood type, that's just platitudes. That's just like saying, oh, I'll give you my kidney, no problem. Oh, you're the best friend ever. We're besties. You don't know what blood type you are. So the chances of that actually happening were probably nil to none, 0 to none, whatever that saying is.
And she could have, and Lana could have said, I'm O positive, and Sarah could be A positive, but she said, oh my goodness, I'm O positive too.
Right. Oh my God, imagine it. What if her and George were, oh, don't do that.
Two
put her
parts
paw
of
on
the
my.
same soul or something.
Yeah, we're soulmates. Something like that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's nice when it's.
two bodies, one soul is what
Thank
she
you.
said.
That's what it was. All right, so then we get to Dr. Julie Harper because we've talked enough about Lana, right? We're ready to move on.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Dr. Julie Harper, she was the only one that got crossed. And I thought the cross again, she basically was testifying again. So we heard all of her testimony again, which I didn't think you were supposed to do in this phase, but they were doing it. And then I thought it was great. Mr. J came up and he's like, did you see the videos? No. Did you see this statement? No. Did you see this statement? No. So, and basically, will you get, she's putting her paw in my drink. So that's what she likes to do. So yeah, so Mr. J was just like, did you see this, Dr. Harper? No. Did you see this to make your assessment? No, 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 no. So, and I'm saying no to Dr. Harper was saying no. All right, dude, stop it. Stop. Just take that away. She's flopping water all over
The
my
pets of
keyboard.
YouTube.
Water's going all over. So if we short out, you'll know why. So Jules,
Dr. Harper also stated that she spoke with Sarah's brother regarding their childhood. The brother said they didn't have a good childhood. She bonded with her father. She had no relationship with her mother. The father died when she was in high school. The brother reports that this was the turning point in Sarah's life. She did not have a thriving relationship with the mom. She is now speaking about battered spouse syndrome. She states that Sarah suffers from that. Basically, she is repeating what she said during trial. That's all I've got on her.
And then Mr. J crossed her, which I thought was appropriate, and I liked it because he basically just shot down everything she said before. Meaning, did you watch the videos? No. Did you watch this? Read this statement? Did you read this? And she was like, no, 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 no. Sam, what do you recall from Dr. Harper?
I guess I was a little surprised because I have not been witness to a sentencing where they brought a witness up to testify like that.
Yeah.
So that was new to me. It didn't do much for me. I mean, I didn't think her testimony did much the first time around. I think they had to use her because she was the only one that had evaluated Sarah, and in the time frame they had, they didn't have time to go find somebody new. Right. You know, I've spent the last 6 months trying to get an evaluation for someone. I'm about to pull my hair out. So,
but what I found interesting, Sam, was that she actually spoke with the brother, and the brother gave her this information. So why didn't the brother speak on her behalf for sentencing?
Well, I remember that Sarah talking to me about her family, and so I do remember that about her mom, and I do remember that about her dad, and then that she also lost all the rest of her family very young. I comments were talking about how the brother wasn't there, and how, of course, Brian Boone wasn't there, and their son. She's got one in prison and one who's in the military. And if you were in the military, would you come down and speak on? I mean, he could have written a letter. We don't know who they all came from, do we?
That's true.
No.
Do we know which brother?
The thing of it is, though, she never said which brother it was that she spoke to. So did she speak to the one that's incarcerated? Or did she speak to the one that's in the military?
I believe it's the one in the military, and I can't tell you why I think that, but something that she said made me think that.
Okay.
It triggered something back in my little tiny brain.
Somebody in the chat said, or I forget now because I'm not remembering because so much has happened, that, and it wasn't today's chat, it was the other one, that Dr. Harper just has a certification. She's not, does that sound right to you guys? Like she's not an actual.
If she has a certification, that means she's certified.
But she's not. I forget what it was. Anyway, okay.
I thought it was Ashley Benefield's mental health person that is the one that is lacking in credentials because she's a certified social worker.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. I'm confusing the two then. All right, thank you. Jenny, you're just doing that now. You're just playing with me. Jenny, the fact she wanted it to be announced who wrote letters was such a joke. She wanted people to hear about the fact that people wrote letters for her. Yeah. And how many letters? I want to say 27, but was that how many letters?
No, seven.
Oh, only 7. Where's the 27? I thought, okay.
Ashley
That
Benefield.
was Ashley Benefield's.
Okay.
Mhm.
See, Sam, you're not the only one that has a porous memory. All right. Any other, let's see, before we get to the star of the show, Miss Sarah herself, any other comments on Jules from where we are so far? Oh, okay.
No.
Let's go. All right. We'll get to the AKA question. Will her future letters to Kranik still be uploaded to OC court record? She knows the record is the way to speak to her fans. She did say this was the tip of the iceberg. That is true.
So anything that is addressed to the judge would be processed by the clerk of courts and would automatically be uploaded into her Orange County docket.
Mhm.
Her
Okay.
appellate record will be on Pacer, which
Right.
is not free.
Correct.
I know. That's why I won't get anything.
If you mess
off-
up a search in Pacer, you're paying for it.
Yeah. All right, OnlyFan. At least her cell is bigger than the suitcase. OnlyFan. What time is it over there? Oh, it's 9 a.m. for you. All right. How long? How much sleep have you gotten today? Who's our other resident vampire? Child Junkies United. We have 2 vampires in our chat, in our community. All right, let's get to the star of the show, Miss Sarah Boone herself.
Do you guys want to watch any of that?
Do you guys want to watch any of it? What do you guys think? Do you want to watch a few minutes of it?
It's your show.
Yeah, let's watch the opening with the whole Japanese thing. If you got it queued up. Yeah.
I'm going to
It's
grab
nice.
some water. I'll be right back.
Okay. Child Junkies United says, yep, you are our other resident, I almost said resident alien, resident vampire, which is a great show, by the way, Resident Alien. 4 hours, not too shabby. All right, OnlyFan. That is not.
I just do that.
Yeah. I'll pull this one up.
Keep chatting.
This was another question that's popped up a lot. Sam, what do you think? Delilah Lynn, I wonder if Sarah and Ashley will be in the same prison. I mean, the chances of that happening?
It's
Maybe.
possible.
Possible, yeah.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
All right, it's gonna pop up. Just be
All right, let's let Jules come back.
All right, no, it's gonna pop up.
Oh my
What
goodness.
did you think about Sarah's
What did I
statement?
think? Oh, I was gobsmacked. I was dumbfounded. I was jaw dropping. I'm like, I can't believe you are saying what you're saying. Because
Mhm.
literally, oh, do you want to go out? Oh, did you guys hear that?
She has such a
Should I let her out? It's so cold out.
It's freezing out.
Dude, are you sure you want to go out? Well, she's not scratching at the door yet, so I'm not going to let her out yet.
I
All
heard
right.
that little.
Did you hear the little squeak? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to now listen to just say maybe 5 minutes. I want to hear that opening about the Japanese vase that it cracks and then they put it back together with gold. So let's roll the video.
Letters on behalf of Miss Boone, and she didn't hear that, but I wanted her to be made aware.
Yes, ma'am.
And that you don't actually read those letters into the record, but you did read them.
I have reviewed them. They're in my binder here. How many do I have? Yes. Give me a second. I can tell you. I have.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. We don't want to torture Pammy any more
I
than
have
we have to.
6 handwritten letters.
Pammy.
First one is 1 page.
Thank you, Pammy. We
Second
appreciate it.
One is
Hang tough.
L.
Boone,
There we go.
Ms. Boone, you can be seated. You've been previously sworn.
We're only going to watch a few
You may
minutes.
inquire, sir.
Don't worry.
for the record, just state your name again.
Sarah Boone.
Now, this is unlike a trial. So you're allowed to
I know. It's all right. We'll only watch.
speak in a narrative form, as well as I understand you have taken some notes or written a letter that you want to read from, and then you want to speak to the court after that.
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and get started?
This is actually an edited version of.
Sarah Boone.
I had a lot to say. I've had a lot of time to think about things, and I didn't really know how to put it on paper. And I didn't know how much I could say or how little I should say. So what I have here is, like I said, an edited version. But I would like to read the more important parts that I feel that everyone should know that wasn't said in my actual trial. And on top of what I have on paper, I have, this is just the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg.
3 tips.
So I wanted to read this, and then if I may, I would like to address everyone in my apology on top of my statement.
You may proceed, ma'am.
Kintu sukuroi is a kind of Japanese ceramic style which means to repair with gold. In this tradition, when a ceramic piece breaks, an artisan will fuse the pieces back together again using liquid gold or gold dust lacquer. So rather than being covered up, the breaks become more obvious and a brilliant new piece of art emerges from the brokenness. It embraces flaws, weakness, and imperfections, and also teaches the essence of resilience. Every crack in a ceramic piece is a part of its history, and each piece becomes more beautiful because it has been broken. This is the wisdom of Kintu sukuroi. In my wisdom and with all of my repairs, then, now, and ongoing, God is, has been, and will always be my artisan. All of my gold is forgiveness. This has held me together, made me shine brighter, and overcome the
That's why
damage
she's
caused
not
by
gonna-
George Torres, the
Pause it.
Torres family, the justice system.
What's that,
You
Sam?
hear that? It has made me shine brighter.
Mm-hmm.
That is why she will never unalive herself.
Right. Yeah, I agree. All right, let's maybe one more minute because I can only take so much of Sarah again. we'll go one more minute.
Orange County Corrections
You have a hell
Department,
of a
social
nerve.
media, scoundrel detectives, infamy, defamation, ongoing constitutional rights violations, second-degree murder, forced into being pro se. Just as gold is very precious, forgiveness is invaluable. Forgiveness is not an attempt to change or forget who, what, or how you've lived through to be so gold, but an act of grace, humility, and considerable self-compassion to be set free from sorrow. Withholding forgiveness denies your brilliance and adds even greater grief and deeper heartache, irreparable cracks on top of the already that no one deserves, no matter the pain or disappointment, untruths or injustice. It doesn't matter. As the more broken you are, even though now different than before, you've become more outstanding and more extraordinary. Above all, when you let go of blame, misunderstandings, excuses, give up your anger and cease from resentment, this is forgiven. And when you forgive, you heal. And when you heal, you move forward. My goal begins with George Torres, and every time he slapped me, kicked, punched, spit on,
Hold on.
raped,
Did you
stabbed,
pause that?
choked, laughed
pause
at,
that.
pushed, pulled, dragged.
Yeah, we can be done.
No, Jules just said something.
All right, Jules, go ahead.
Well, it's too late now, but I wanted to point out that when she brought up George and his family,
Yeah.
her eyes went up. She directed that look to the family.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like
I
30
saw that.
seconds or so, 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
From, and then you want to speak to the court after that.
Yes. How like he was formed. Kintu sukuroi is a kind
It's all right.
Yeah, you don't have to go back.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Laughed at, pushed,
we can be done.
pulled, dragged.
Because again, Sam, she again talks about, you know, how radiant she will become. How I don't think she's going to. She might
Exactly,
consider it. You know,
Right.
we can.
I don't think she'll consider it.
Not even. Yeah, you don't even think she'll even consider it.
No, I think if she is hurting and miserable and struggling in prison, she might hurt herself to like get to the infirmary,
Right.
you know, to get removed from her situation. She might threaten self-harm. She
Mhm.
might threaten unaliving, but I don't think there's any way that she would ever actually do it. I
Right.
think that if we ever hear of such an issue going on with her, that it's her conniving to get out of whatever situation she's in, really.
Agreed. I agree. All right, we'll take some more questions on Sarah, then we're going to move on to Ashley because we got to get on to her too. Sneaky side, Sarah is as cringy as a Tommy. Is that Wiseau? I'm not familiar with.
Me either.
Sorry, movie. If you don't know who that filmmaker is, there's a good reason for it. If you do, there's also a good reason for that. Sarah and Tommy Wiseau forever. All right, Sneaky, send me some of his movies. Send me a list and I'll check them out. Widespread panic. Do narcissists ever, what?
I saw Widespread Panic's comment. I thought it was
Oh,
funny.
do narcissists ever end themselves, or do they just make others want to? Yeah, good one. Therapist, you know, widespread rarely, I'm sure. Yes. BAP, I sincerely believe Sarah's letter is what tipped the scales to her getting life. Her letter. Yeah, Sarah's letter.
You're
She
not the
eliminated-
only person to have said that.
Yeah, she eliminated any consideration of mitigating factors with her nonsense. Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
there was just all right. Let's wrap up, Sarah, and then we can move on to Ashley. Oh, Ronnie, the judge did ask Sarah every day if she was happy with her representation. Yes, she did, and if she had any questions. Her answers were always yes, that she was happy with her representation, and even threw in the word "very" every once in a while. She was very happy
And
with her.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I agree. So final thoughts. We'll start with you, Sam. Watching it from the comfort of YouTube. What any final thoughts on Sarah?
I've actually listened to her recitation several times.
Mhm.
I'm still, I guess, God, I don't even know what to say. I was struck by the fact that the writing sounded so much different than all the stuff we're used to hearing with,
Mhm.
50 adjectives and words like futuristically.
Right.
I thought that the whole thing sounded much different. And so that kind of caught me off guard.
Mhm.
It caught me off guard too that she threw so many people under the bus, because you'd think at a sentencing you're trying to save yourself, and I didn't think that anything she said, I thought it was a giant FU to the world, basically.
Yeah,
I think it's
Jules?
interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I'll get to that point as well, Sam. Jules, any final parting shots on Sarah before we move on to Ashley?
It was self-serving. It had nothing to do with throwing herself on the mercy of the court and truly apologizing for what had happened. I sat there and I thought to myself, oh, she knows she's going away forever, so she's throwing everything to the wind.
Yep.
That's what I thought until the hearing was over and everyone was leaving, and I heard her say to Mr. Owens, I can't believe he gave me life. So I'm like, well, you're shocked that he gave you life, and why would you say all the things that you said? So I don't know. She's she's gone as far as I'm concerned. Done. I have nothing
would-
else to say.
I would
about
really
her.
love to know what she was expecting. Like, because it was 22 and a half years, right, was the minimum. And she did turn down the plea, which, yeah. So she was minimum. Yep, go ahead.
The plea also, the requirement for 15 years, and she would have gotten time served. She would have been out in like 8 years. The only requirement that Mr. J asked was acknowledge what you did
Yep.
and apologize. That was it. And she said no.
Yeah.
What kind of an idiot? And just so you know, that same plea offer was given a second time when Owens came on board.
Mhm.
And Owens tried to talk her into taking it.
Yeah.
And she gave an FU. No.
Yeah.
If Mr. J would have taken those requirements out, she would have pled guilty.
Mm-hmm. I think then she just truly felt that she was battered and it was justified. And when somebody is willing to go to the mat, you're not going to change their mind. She truly felt that it wasn't her fault, that he deserved it, I guess,
Someone told her very early on that no jury would hear her story and convict her. And those are you might as well just say that those are the only words she ever heard.
Yeah.
And I do know that to actually be a fact. That
Was it an inmate? Was it an inmate, or do you know who it was?
No, I do know.
Okay.
I'm not going to say
Oh.
specifically.
But it was not an inmate.
It was not an inmate.
Okay,
No.
thank you.
Carolina Hurtado says, maybe it will be much more understandable to know that Sarah Boone
Terrifying.
plagiarized from a book written by Lauren E. Walker titled Terrifying Love.
Thank you. That's interesting. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you, Carolina.
Yeah. What part
Okay,
did
that
she
explains a
plagiarize?
lot.
Like most of what she talked about, or?
Well, she talked about George's terrifying love.
Oh, okay.
But that's really interesting. I didn't bother to do any Googling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm a terrible guest.
Oh, that's okay. I want to pull up one comment, if I may. One comment from Kay Swan. I truly hope the Torres family does a civil suit so she will never profit from her nonsense. Now, there's the Son of Sam law, which came about because in 77, Son of Sam, that and it has shifted a little bit, but inmates are not allowed to profit off of their crime. Some states are a little bit more lax in that, but I still think that you can't do something that lands you in jail, prison, and then profit off of that. From a book, a movie, or whatever, that it would, and then the victims will put a injunction on that or stipulation or whatever to say if there is a movie made, the victim gets all the proceeds.
That's not going to stop anybody from making a movie about her without her
Right.
participation.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah. Yeah. Oh,
She doesn't have
sure.
to profit. I don't think we have seen or heard the end of the Sarah Boone
No.
saga, but I do think she
Agreed.
took that opportunity to just, as if it were her last word to
Yeah.
everyone.
Exactly. Like
a-blazing.
Chris and I can write a book together about our experience with her, and we
Absolutely.
can make money. And
Absolutely.
there's nothing wrong. It's we can't profit, but
Right.
anybody else can profit.
Right.
No, agreed. Yeah, I just wanted to address that she will never profit from that, Yeah, it was kind of like, what's that, Sundance, Butch Cassidy and Sundance, she went down in a blaze of glory, both middle fingers were like,
You thought that too?
Yeah, F you to the world. Then when she did the what is it, the social media tycoons, profiting off of me, and all this stuff, she made sure to call out, all of us.
Everybody. And
Yeah,
the
everybody.
judge.
She literally,
And the judge. She threw
Yep.
the damn judge in there.
Yep. Yeah, she literally threw everybody under the bus, called them out, whatever you want to say. All right,
Yeah.
it's 9:30. Let's move on to Ashley. So then after Jules and I were in Tampa for Sarah, we drove over. Jules was
Sarah's in
gracious enough to
Orlando,
allow me.
sir.
What's that, Sam?
Sarah's in Orlando.
What?
Ashley was in Tampa in
Oh, what did I
Bradenton.
say? Sarah was in Orlando.
and-
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
You
we
said
drove
Tampa.
to,
Sorry, thank you.
southwest. We did not drive to Tampa.
We did not. We drove to Jules's home. She was gracious enough to allow me to stay there for the evening. I hung out with Frankie. We did a quick live. We hit 5,000 subs. We drank some wine. We toasted, and then we went to Bradenton, which is where Ashley Benefield's sentencing was. There was a little bit of drama there. I got there a little bit later than Jules, but Jules was there at 8:30. Did you see from the very beginning, Jules, or did you get there a little bit late too?
I got there a little bit late. Hold on, I'll tell you.
Because you texted me at like 8:32 saying 6A, hurry, and I'm like, I know, I'm trying to find parking.
I know. I got there, and what was her name? The domestic violence expert was already on the stand when
She
I
was
got
first
there.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I didn't take any notes, so I'm going to rely on you guys to kind of walk us through it if you have notes or not. Jules, do you want to start us? Start us with the.
Well, the first thing I have that I put out was the DV expert was on the stand. Doug Benefield's family was in the courtroom in full force, and that even during the trial, it was mostly Doug's cousin Tommy and his daughter Eva.
Yeah.
Once in a while, one brother was there, but yesterday his entire family was there. Ashley had a few supporters in the courtroom, and I was getting a lot of questions in regards to all of those people that were sitting behind me, and then after some time they all got up and left. And everybody, who were those people and why did they get up and leave? It was a class trip. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
It was a class trip.
All right. That's when I came in. I literally came in and there was like 30 or 40 kids. They looked like they were like maybe 20s. I thought they were Eva's. I thought they were for Eva.
No,
that was a class trip.
It was a class trip.
Okay. So that's when I came in. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
I know, and I broke my glasses, so I can't read. Look, y'all, don't be making fun of me when you see me put 2 pairs of glasses on. I can't see. The expert was saying that Doug needed constant attention. He felt things was his way. She states that Ashley has PTSD. The expert is discussing combat duty and PTSD. She states that this applies to Ashley. Expert stated that Doug contributed to his own death. I was very upset, by the way, when she said that. I thought that was not a correct thing to say, but I'm no expert. Anyway, expert states that Ashley was reacting under extreme duress at the time of the shooting. Expert states that Ashley was uncomfortable around men. This is the expert that Ashley stayed with when she bonded out. She said Ashley was constantly apologizing to the expert's husband. Direct is over. Cross-examination. Prosecutor asked if Ashley has histrionic personality. Expert stated yes, she was diagnosed with it was a false diagnosis. And the prosecutor also asked, did you participate in the demonstration outside of the courthouse? I didn't know that. This was news to me. And she said yes. And the prosecutor said, and you still think you're not biased? She said yes, and cross-examination was over.
Hmm. Yeah, it is weird that the DV expert had Ashley live with her. Sam, what do you think about that?
I was blown away by that.
Hmm.
Absolutely blown away by it. That whole case, though, was odd to me. I didn't watch it so much as I listened to it. I do that a lot where
Mhm.
I have it on, but I'm not like necessarily watching the testimony.
Mhm.
I she's the one too that wasn't, she may have been a DV expert, but she was a very biased one, clearly. And I believe
Yeah.
she was a social worker. She's the one I
Okay.
believe was a licensed social worker. I don't know that she was actually a doctor in anything, but also like how, this is me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was stunned.
So pretty much everybody is saying that was not appropriate. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, and I'm sorry again.
Never
I'm
heard of that.
yeah. I can't really
And
speak
she,
too much
she
to it, but
lived with her for 8 months.
wow. Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How is that even? I don't understand.
Could have been reported to her board. Yeah, I don't know enough about that, but yeah. I suppose she could have, but if it was so inappropriate, then why would she have done that? I mean, she must have
Right.
known something
No,
was.
I mean there had to be some permissible way for her to have done that, and it
Yeah.
it could be intensive live-in crisis something. I don't
Right.
know. My
And
knowledge is on the legal side more than anything.
right. And then to come into court and testify that she lived. I mean, yeah, that seems like if that was going to get her in trouble, then I don't think she would have done that. So
No. That
yeah,
had to have been acceptable,
yeah, on
you
some
know.
level.
Mhm.
Jules, who was next after?
Doug Benefield's brother
Okay.
is on the stand, and he is thanking the judge, law enforcement, etc., for everything that they did. He's speaking of the shock he felt at finding out his brother was murdered. He says he needed to see Doug before he was cremated. He was in disbelief. Doug's brother looked at Ashley and said, "I forgive you." That was a defining moment for me, because he literally turned around and looked at her and said that. And he said, "I do not hate you." He states he prays for her healing. He prays that God forgives Ashley.
Sam, what do you think about Doug's brother and his testimony?
Yeah, the brothers,
First.
that whole sentencing was really interesting, and I tried to listen to it twice so that I could be coherent, and I listened to it today. That one was a little off the wall to me too, because the judge kept stepping in and the state kept objecting. Is that the second guy, the second brother?
Yeah.
They seemed kind of interchangeable to me as well, but that's could just be me. I don't know. They were they were both very respectful. They were very well educated, very well spoken. I still don't have a good picture of who Doug Benefield was in my mind at all.
Okay. You, Chris, any thoughts on the first brother?
No, because I was involved. I was doing too many technical things. That's why I'm going to rely heavily on you guys, because
Then the next brother, gotta put these other glasses on, is speaking. He's asking that the judge sentence Ashley to the maximum sentence. He is trying to say a lot of denigrating things about Ashley, and the defense objects, and the judge agrees. And basically, I don't remember verbatim what he was saying, and that's the reason why it's not in there, because every time he tried to say something, Mr. Taylor, well, actually, it wasn't Mr. Taylor that objected. It was the other attorney who is actually going to be her appellate attorney, kept objecting. And I found it quite interesting that that the judge sustained it. I've never seen that happen in court. And even not with this brother, but when Tommy Benefield spoke, the same thing was happening. And so the prosecutor wanted a legit reason, like, why is this not allowed, that they are allowed to speak their feelings and speak directly to her? And Judge White quoted the statute, but it was for death penalty qualified defendants, and that wasn't her. So so I don't know. I just found that really odd that Doug's brother, Doug's cousin Tommy, and Doug's daughter all were stopped from completing their impact statements.
Thank you for that, Kitty Cam. So it was Tommy. Cindy RN says he was a very smart, well-versed man, according to that last brother. One of the world is losing out a lot of technology, etc., that he helped invent. That Tommy, the cousin, also said that as well.
Yes. Go ahead.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Sam. Go ahead.
That struck me where they were talking about all of his skills and smarts and inventions and everything, because wasn't part of this about the fact that he didn't, like, I know it was a DV case, but that there was actually no money, that they tried to say she was, looking for money, but in the end there was no money, and the ballet school went out of business and dancers didn't get paid. I mean, so I was thinking, if he did all these fantastic, fabulous things, why was there no money then? I don't know.
I think Tommy can best answer that question, hopefully in the near future. But Tommy said, again, he spoke to Doug's military service, which he had an exemplary military record, and he was describing the relationship between Doug and Ashley. He states Doug loved Ashley, and in his presence, they showed the love for one another. He now states how intelligent Doug was on stuff I don't understand at the moment, because he was getting really technical, and I honestly did not understand some of the things he was describing that Doug did. He was listing them. And it was, and then he wanted to start going after Ashley, and that's when Judge White actually started schooling Tommy Benefield on his victim impact statement on what was allowed and what wasn't allowed. I think Tommy was frustrated at that point. Again, we'll hear from Tommy sometime in the future, soon, I hope, in regards to that, because he basically, from that point on, it appeared to me he was at a loss because he was cut off. So he just ended it with asking for 30 years, 30 years for her.
Okay.
What you think, Sam?
I think they portrayed him as a saintly savant in a way. Like, he could do no wrong, that he was incredibly intelligent, that the world was losing out on all this stuff I didn't understand either. And I see the comments saying that she went through his money and the ballet company went through his money. But if he had done all of this tech work that none of us have a grasp on, it seems like there would be a lot more money than Ashley Benefield could have gone through in the short amount of time they were together. It
To
was
my
the daughter
understanding-
that was more interesting to me.
To my understanding, he had I'm going to use the term a couple of million. I don't know exactly, but it was a great deal of money. But apparently he poured everything into the dance company.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Mhm.
So then Eva,
Oh, you're back.
uh,
Oh yeah,
So-
her jacket. We'll talk about her jacket in a second. But yeah, what was her impact statement, Jules? What did you think about her?
she's telling about her mom's death and how it affected her.
Mhm.
You know, as you guys know, she was, I think, 14 or 15 at the time. You know, she's the one who found her mom passed away from a heart attack.
Mhm.
She said that Doug always made himself available to her as a result of her mom's passing. She's describing the day of Doug's death. She never received her morning text from him. She had said that he texted her every morning and always sent her a Bible verse every morning. And that morning, she didn't receive anything from him.
Mhm.
And she kept texting him, and all of her text messages went unanswered. And then she started calling, and it was going straight to his voicemail. Then she started addressing Ashley, asking, "Why did you do it? Why did you take the father of 2 young daughters away?" She states that she had the privilege of knowing him, but Emerson never will. She is describing how Ashley removed all of her mother's memories from her childhood home.
Yeah.
I did not go into detail on here, but I remember what she said. She took pictures off the wall. She got rid of all the furniture and bought all new furniture. She rearranged things, and she said it just seemed like on a daily basis, Ashley was erasing more and more and more of her mom.
Mhm.
Again, the defense objects and the judge agrees. Prosecutor is snapping back at the judge, and the judge was not liking it. That's basically now what I noticed when Eva was up there. I noticed on the back upper right hand shoulder on the back, you can tell it was a hand sewn heart.
Mhm.
And with the clothing she was wearing, I thought that was odd. And I didn't know what, it just seemed out of place for me. And I just thought it was odd. And then I thought, well, it is Eva. So, she likes to be different and trendy. If you've ever seen her TikToks. So I
Yeah.
attribute it to that. And then,
Sure.
as you know, I asked
Yes.
Eva at the press conference about the heart. And then it was at that time I found out she had one here. So she
Yeah.
had one here, she had one here. And she said it was
Oh,
where the bullets
Shot.
were in.
Yeah. Yeah, there were 4. I believe she shot 4 times and struck him twice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did Eva say that was where Doug was shot? Yes. Yes. Yeah, at the press conference, Jules asked that specifically of Eva, what's the significance of the hearts on your jacket? And Eva explained that.
Eva's recitation of the text messages from her dad, or hers to her dad that morning, I thought was a very good, like, that stuck with me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought she did a great job.
Yeah. I thought she did too. And she took a lot of criticism on social media.
We watched her videos.
This was mostly from
Yeah.
people that believed that Ashley was justified in doing what she did, and they were just saying not nice things about Eva, to me, and saying, well, what do you think about this? What do you think? She's a kid, all right? She is just a kid. Even though she's 22 years old now, she's still a kid.
Yeah.
And you've got to show her some grace. She's growing.
I'm gonna pull
You've
it.
got to give her time to grow into her own. And
Yeah.
she's been through two, not one, but two traumatic events in her
Her parents
life.
are gone. Yeah, her parents are gone.
She's an orphan. I mean,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
yes, she's
Yeah.
an orphan. So,
Orphan, yeah.
I'm going to give the kid grace because I think she deserves it.
Yeah.
I do. I think she deserves grace. She's
Yeah.
just a kid and she's been through a lot. And
Agreed.
she's trying to make her own way. And
Mhm.
people are criticizing her TikTok. Well, you know what? That's what all the kids are doing nowadays. It's the rave.
Yeah.
And she's making money. And it is what it is. And if that's how she's making her living and she's promoting people's products on her TikTok as well, and she gets paid for it, who cares? People get paid for doing YouTube, grown ass adults. So why are you going to generate, a 22-year-old kid? Leave her alone. Let her be her. She still doesn't know who she is.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
agree.
where I stand on Eva.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. She's 22. She lost her mom, 9 years ago or so, 8 years ago, and then Ashley comes into her life a few years later, and that's a huge upheaval.
No,
and
Ashley came into her life 9 months after her mother died.
Okay, sorry.
9 months.
Okay, so then
Yeah,
that's a
so
huge upheaval.
hard.
Yep,
Wow.
and then a couple years after that, her dad is gone in a
right.
traumatic way. Not like they got in a car accident or something. I mean, that would have been traumatic as well. But I mean, a shooting is yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, and to be 22, that's a lot to deal with for sure. And then all the media pressure on top of it.
Yeah. So whether you believe it was self-defense or not, where Eva is concerned, I feel like kids are off limits. And I got pushback from people saying, well, she's 22. Yeah, she's 22 now. She wasn't 22 when all of this started. She was just a teenager. So,
Right.
leave her alone. Just leave her alone. That's what I have to say about that.
I know.
It doesn't matter what side you're on.
I want to, before we continue on, why do you think that this trial garnered national attention? Sam, what do you think? Like, I can understand Sarah because that was such a unique thing and she's such just whatever she is. But why do you think this case got such
That's an
national attention?
excellent question. And the only thing I can think of is that Law and Crime or somebody gave it a catchy name.
Court
Yeah.
TV.
It was the Black Swan trial.
Yeah.
And if you label something like that and you make it commercial like that, then people are going to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I don't think that the circumstances of it were any more or less special than any other case that we see like this. Do you think?
No, that's why I think I was thinking about that either today or yesterday. I'm like, maybe it was this morning. I'm like,
What am I missing?
Why are we covering this? I mean, it's tragic, but when you really look at it, there's I hate to say it this way, but there's so many other cases that were so much more spectacular and
Right.
and sensationalized than this.
I think it was because she was beautiful. She was young. He was 27 years older than her. She was a
Yeah.
model. She was a ballerina. So,
Which he
all
named
of
pretty
that
good.
was very salacious. They made it very
Yeah.
salacious.
No, you're right. Yeah, if if she had two teeth and looked whatever, we'd be like, yeah, whatever. We wouldn't even know. We wouldn't even know
She,
this case.
I thought she looked, like I said, I listened to this trial more than I watched it.
Mhm.
But I looked at her today. I was watching the sentencing and I thought she looks, I mean, she looked ravaged, but she also looked like she was numb,
Mhm.
like she wasn't affected because she was just numb. Like I didn't see her expression change one time.
Yeah, and she's 33 or
I'm
34
I'm
now.
wondering if she was medicated. I don't know if she was, but
Oh,
I don't
that's
know
a
if she was
thought.
medicated, but she was not, she did not speak to Mr. Taylor or her appellate lawyer at all. Like during the trial, she spoke with the paralegals, she spoke with Mr. Taylor, she spoke, with the female attorney that was there. She was very animated during the trial.
Mhm.
Yesterday, no, she was stoic. She stared straight ahead. She did not turn her head in either direction. It was either straight ahead or she looked down. So I don't know if she was medicated or if she thought this is it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Her being pretty didn't hurt the publicity either. Mandy Strong. Why would the jail drug her though? I mean, is that something that they can just do?
No,
I mean,
that's
Sam, you're saying
not,
yes?
no.
Or-
The jail doesn't drug them. If her doctor, if she's having anxiety or she's depressed or whatever, and
Okay.
she's on medication, it's, they've got to give her medication. I mean, I don't know if she was medicated. It's pure speculation on my part. She could have been totally just resigned to the fact that,
Just, yeah.
she was going away for a long time, or she was on medication. And there's nothing wrong with being on medication. Sam, speak to this, please. You've
Well,
had inmates like
yeah,
this.
so if they have if it depends on the care they have inside the jail and the
Mhm.
psych evals and the doctors that are available, because they absolutely can be medicated.
Right.
Uh, they can't be like, oh, she's throwing a fit, medicate her now, like Nurse Ratched style,
Right.
that happen to my
Right.
knowledge. But also there's a lot of drugs that make their way into the jail, so there's nothing to say that she wasn't on Xanax that had come in illegally or something to that effect. That for some reason didn't occur to me. I just thought she looked like she was numb, exhausted, in shock, and I just thought resigned to it. And
Yeah.
I thought, if I had been through what she had, whether I had caused it or not, it's still a lot of trauma. Plus, I have a baby, right? And you have all this stuff that happened. Then I think I would have hit a wall too, and just been like, there's nothing that can be said or done now at this point. It's just going to happen the way it's going to happen.
Hmm.
I had a
Yeah.
hard time with the way the judge was running the whole thing, but
Mhm. In what way, Sam? What do you mean by that?
the way he was running through that statute and kept
Oh.
referring to it and
Mhm.
was, I understand he was checking off some things for some purposes, and it just was odd. The whole thing did not sit well with me at all. And I heard the statute numbers and I thought about it, and I know what statutes basically he was looking at, but I still don't understand why he used it so prevalently in
Is
the
that
way in which he did.
I think it was because Mr. Taylor had requested the downward departure.
Thank you. Yeah, I
Oh
was just gonna
yeah,
say
he was
that.
looking for factors for the downward departure. I
Yeah,
understand that,
yeah.
but I, I don't know. There's something about it that just didn't
Broken
sit right
Baker.
with me. The way the judge was running it.
Yeah. Thank you, Broken Baker, for your question. We'll pull that up. Do you want me to get it?
No, Kristen.
Oh, Kristen, if she wasn't therapist, if she wasn't medicated, it was an intentional front she put on for whatever reason. It was wild. Well, we saw her testimony of what happened, and that was kind of interesting. Um, her her view of the events and how she put that on. So she could have been. This could have all been an act. I don't know. I didn't get that from her, but
I didn't get that from her either, and I was
I
sitting
didn't think it
right
was
there.
I didn't think it was
Yeah.
an act,
No.
but I do think that that it is possible if she. It didn't seem to me like she was drugged. I just thought she'd hit the wall.
I agree. That's
I've looked in the mirror and seen that expression on my face in the deep circles and been like,
yeah,
oh my God,
yeah,
like you just can't absorb anymore. That's what I got from it. But there
yeah.
are psychiatric professionals in your chat that seem to disagree with me.
Oh, therapist, are you agreeing or disagreeing that she was not resigned or she was resigned? Broken Baker, thank you for joining us. If the judge believes she is drugged, they would test her. Remember, they always ask if they are clear of mind. That's true. It would be an
Yeah,
appeal issue.
but again, do you know the amount of substances that come into these jails that
Mhm,
are not? She could have been medicated of
mhm.
her own accord. Didn't have to be the jail gave her anything.
Yeah. I think she looked defeated and resigned, and she did not look 33 to me. She looked older. Therapist, I just watched her eyes. She seemed catatonic almost until she didn't and was looking around making eye contact. But then she would go back to a daydream like look. I think she was resigned.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Yeah. I think we're all kind of in agreement with that. She just seemed, yeah, she hit a wall. She was resigned,
I just thought she was, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like I would have been at the same place. Like you're just out of everything. It's like, let's move on to the next part now, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody said she disassociated to a degree.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Somebody was smarter than me. They said it. I forget who said that. Pop it up again. We'll pull it up. Gina Gomez says, Sam, based on Ashley's background, would you see histrionic traits?
The way that it was described today, to some extent,
Mhm.
yes, but my psychiatric or psychological education is old at this point. That was my major in college.
Okay.
The experts, you have to take them with a grain of salt, and you have to understand a couple of things. One is that when you are working on the defense side of one of these cases, you need a doctor and you need an evaluator, because if you don't do that, if you don't have them evaluated, like this is why I keep complaining about the fact I can't get one for this kid that was convicted in August. It's a $38.50 back on the lawyers. It's going to come back, right? You have
Mhm.
to, as a lawyer, you've got to check every freaking box. And so sometimes it's not about whether the diagnosis is correct so much as they just come up with something they can say. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? It may not
Yeah.
be the best, most spot on thing, but it may be the closest to the truth as they could get.
Right.
It just I'm not trying to diss all the doctor experts in Florida.
No, no, not at all.
Okay.
So Dr. Bullbutter said she looked disassociated.
Oh, yeah, I thought that was a good comment.
So thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's move
Okay.
on.
So sentencing is over. The impact statements are over, and Mr. Taylor is asking the judge for a downward departure. Mr. Taylor is discussing the violent acts Doug admitted to. He's using the examples of Doug putting a tracking device on the car, trying to buy the home behind Ashley, and the letter from Doug's first wife citing domestic violence committed against her by Doug. Mr. Taylor is now making his closing remarks. He states that Ashley still maintains her innocence. Mr. Taylor states that the judge didn't allow all the facts in front of the jury. The jury found her not guilty of murder, but guilty of manslaughter. Prosecutor objects. Judge White disagrees with the prosecutor. I was very surprised by that too, by the way. Mr. Taylor goes on to say that if the jury would have been allowed to hear all the evidence that was documented, the jury could have found Ashley not guilty on all charges. Mr. Taylor doesn't feel that Ashley was given a fair trial. Mr. Taylor is saying that law enforcement decided in 45 minutes that Ashley committed a murder, a rush to judgment. Mr. Taylor is taking exception to the fact that the judge didn't allow the jurors to know of the letter that Ashley wrote to Doug 3 years prior, that she was afraid of him and for her life. Mr. Taylor is stating that the court denied the defense to enter the DNA evidence that Doug's DNA was on Ashley's hand and arm, which supported Ashley's story. Then I put a side note. Stephanie Murphy, Doug's family law attorney, is in the courtroom. No jurors were present for the sentencing. Judge White is taking issue with Mr. Taylor, stating that the judge made objections during the closing. He is now discussing the jury questions about the expert witness. They wanted a readback. Judge denied the readback. Mr. Taylor now states at 10:30 they were hung. Mr. Taylor wanted to release the jury for the night. The judge didn't allow it, so a few minutes later, a guilty on manslaughter. Defense closing is over. Thoughts?
Sam, what do you think on his attempts to, yeah. Go
I
ahead.
thought the whole thing was odd. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I think I just thought the whole thing felt very odd and contentious and weird, and I don't know. I didn't understand.
Yeah, he argued that the downward, what's it called? I kept hearing downward.
Downward
departure.
departure. Downward
departure.
departure.
Okay.
It means departing from the guidelines
Lesser.
down to a lower sentence.
Yeah.
Like
You know.
lower than the minimum. Like
Right.
even below the minimum
Yeah.
sentence.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I got all of that, but I that he was arguing that a lot. I mean, it seemed like.
And the judge sided with him, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just
So
quickly
now-
get into Turkish. Didn't present as histrionic though. Kristen thinks that she did not come across as histrionic. So go ahead, Jules.
And that's what the DV expert said. She disagreed with the prosecutor. Okay, prosecutor starts her closing argument. Prosecutor disagrees with downward departure. She states that Doug never said he shot the gun to intimidate Ashley, that there was no proof that Doug violated the restraining order. Basically, the prosecutor is saying that this was a rocky marriage. Both lost tempers. It happens in every marriage. Prosecutor says Ashley blows things out of proportion. She states that Ashley has no credibility, and the only goal Ashley had was to have sole custody of their child. Prosecutor states that defense has not met the burden for downward departure. She says that Ashley was the abusive one, and all Doug ever wanted was to take care of them. She asked the judge to give her 30 years. Thoughts on what the prosecutor said? No thoughts?
You know what? I have so many things going on that I feel like I missed so much of this sentencing because I was talking to people outside. I was talking to people that were inside that came out. So I was getting like all this information on the outside. People that Jules, we talked about that. So I'm kind of at a loss. So I'm going to rely on you guys. Sam, do you want to? What did you think?
I don't know that what did he end up giving her? Like 20 and 10? Or was
Yeah.
it 10 and 10?
Yeah. Here's
20
all right.
and probation.
All
Yeah.
right. So judge states it's a tragedy we are here today. Judge states
Right.
that the element of F does apply. That's one of the elements for the downward departure. So
Right.
the judge agrees with F. There is proof that Doug Benefield was a willing participant. The Benefield family is not happy. They are shaking their heads. Judge finds that Ashley demonstrated remorse during her testimony during the trial. Judge has decided that it's weird because he agreed with part of the downward departure, but in the end, the judge has decided that a downward departure is denied, and then proceeded to sentence Ashley to 20 years in prison, followed by 10 years of probation. And there was no, oh, and by the way, so in case anybody doesn't know, not her mom wasn't in court either, which that bothered me, that her own mother didn't show up at sentencing, let
Really
alone
speak.
speak for her
Right.
and speak on her daughter's behalf.
Right.
There has been no reaction from the Benefield family regarding Ashley's sentencing. There was no reaction from Ashley as well. And then the deputies fingerprinted her. During fingerprinting, there was she just stood there. There was no reaction. And then, as you know, you guys know I asked about the hearts. So, but after court, after the press conference, I spoke with Tommy, and I asked if Eva or any family members have had any visitation with Doug and Ashley's daughter, Emerson. He said there was no contact at all, but the family will be pursuing legal avenues in the future in regards to Emerson. End of the day.
Oh, that would be the they've been talking about it recently. It's something about the grandparent statute, so that when there's a court battle of some kind, you can't alienate the other set of grandparents. I honestly have just been hearing about it in court cases, and I'm kind of just piecing it together. So, but that's what I would think, because if Ashley's mom has the baby and he's deceased, and they want,
and Ashley signed over her parental rights to her mother.
Oh wow. Okay. So then there's I don't know if it's a statute, guys, or if it's what it is, but it's like you can't alienate the grandparents.
It's from Dan Markel's passing and Adelson's. Yeah, because
okay, I have been listening to Markel stuff, so that would make sense.
Yeah, that's specifically for that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So here's the
thing. Dan's parents, Dan Markel's parents, the grandparents want contact with that, but the Adelsons are keeping those kids away, and Markel's got a law passed, a bill passed, and I think it's called like grandparents or something, Markel's law or whatever. So that would apply here. That would make sense. Yeah. If somebody gets killed, it's in conjunction with that. So.
Yeah, I was listening to some Markel stuff earlier this week, so that would make sense that I heard it. I put some stuff together in context without actually knowing something about the law, which is what I did here.
Here's the thing. I know that now, again, this is going to have to be a question for Tommy Benefield, hopefully shortly soon. I don't think, from my conversation with him, I don't think that they are seeking custody. I don't think
No.
they are going to try to take her away from the
Right.
grandmother, but I think what they want is visitation, a
Yes.
relationship.
Yes.
Right.
And my personal opinion is I think the child needs to know her sister.
Hmm.
I think that she has a right to know who her daddy's family is.
Yep.
I don't feel that I don't feel that this little girl should be alienated. I don't care if you think Ashley is guilty or if you think she's innocent. I am talking about the welfare of this little girl.
Yeah.
I don't think she should be alienated from her father's family, especially her sister Eva.
And that's exactly what's going on with Markel and Adelson's, that the two boys are there's no relationship with Markel's side, and that they would love those kids and they want to have a relationship with them. So that is exactly what's happening in that case, what's going on with Emerson and Benefield's. I want to pull this up because go ahead. So Ashley had mom take the. Oh, go ahead, Jules. Go.
I was just going to say, Ashley's mom is no spring chicken, and she's got a 6-year-old little girl that she's raising. Her mom is not what you would call in the best of health. What if something happens to her? Then what happens to this little girl? So she has, I mean, there's a real possibility then Eva is legally and technically her next of kin. So she would go to Eva. So don't you think that this child should get to know Eva? God forbid something should happen to the grandmother and Eva has to step in and take care of her. What do you want her to go? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to shut up now.
No, I say absolutely. There, and I was going to say there should be a law, and guess what? There is a law that prevents that from happening. When one side gets too much control and they keep the other, they keep that kid as a pawn, away from the other side, and that is now a law. But Jules, you and I were talking about this because I thought this was the case, but you corrected me. So let's talk about this. Ashley had mom take the daughter for a walk so she could unalive him without them being there. I thought that as well, but Jules, you want to speak to this?
That is false. Okay. She took Emerson every day. All right. They live in a gated community. It has a community pool and a community park. She took Emerson there every day at 5:00. She didn't take her in the, midday. It was, if you live in Florida, you know what I'm talking about. It's too hot. The mother would not take her midday. She would wait till 5 p.m. and then take her for a walk. They would go to the park. They would spend time at the community pool, and then they would come back. That happened every single day. That is not in dispute at all.
Baca, I thought the same thing, and that must have come out in testimony because I watched the trial and I thought the same thing. So, but Jules, you have a different opinion on that, so I appreciate that.
It's not an opinion.
Well, you have the receipts. I have to. Yeah, I want to rewatch that, and I missed the whole ME thing. I want to watch that again because I missed that part of the trial.
What did you miss, Chris?
The ME report, like the ME, the medical examiner. Yeah.
That was crazy. That was
Because
crazy.
because he was shot like on the side. So to me, he was like he wasn't shot in the front as if he was coming. He was kind of shot on the side. So he was either she showed the gun, then he was either running away, or the way she described it, he was like coming at her like this. It was just very, very awkward to watch her testimony of what happened.
Therapist,
the
says
demonstration was bad.
Wait, hold on. Sam, go ahead.
therapist,
to pull up something?
wrote a comment that said psychologically it's fascinating to her how polarizing this case is. And I
Yeah.
agree. I think it's really fascinating because,
Yeah.
I've been around on different channels, listening, and it doesn't seem like anybody can agree on this case,
Yeah.
and it's yeah, I don't know. These two cases, Sarah and Ashley, I don't know if they have helped or hurt DV survivors. It's
Yeah. All right.
Sarah
There's two
Hurt,
comments. Go ahead, Jules. I'm going to pull up two comments, but go ahead.
Sarah's defense definitely hurt because it was ridiculous.
Mhm.
I'm on the fence. Honestly, I am on the fence where Ashley Benefield is concerned. I have been from day one, and even today, I'm still on the fence in regards to that.
Yeah.
I look back at the Marsha Thompson case, and that was a definitely a clear case of domestic violence and self-defense, hands down. This particular case, I am on the fence.
Yeah. So
Of
Jules,
course,
so Ashley, she knew what time. Okay, so there's that. All right, so there's that. And then it doesn't matter if she truly was afraid of him, she wouldn't have set mom out, period. So again, these are all valid points though. And this is why
but
it's so polarizing because
she didn't send her. That's the point.
right, but if
People,
she knew that
right.
mom
She
took
was
Emerson
gone
out
every
every
day
day,
at
if she truly was afraid, she wouldn't want to be left alone with Doug. So she would have said, "Hey, mom, just stick with me until I get packed up," because that's what they were doing. They were packing
Exactly.
to leave. So if she was truly afraid of him, she would have been like, "Hey, mom, could you just hang with me?" Well, and again, why did she invite Doug over to help her pack? I mean, that's what makes this so polarizing. Because on one hand,
well, because
you
Doug thought, and this is on Ashley, Doug
know,
thought they were all moving to Maryland together. And
so
then
if she's so afraid of him, why are they going to do that? Why is she inviting this back? Why is she inviting this monster who kicked her dog and shot holes in the ceiling? Why is she inviting him
I
back into
think
her
she
life?
was buying time. I think she was buying time because it was at that point is when she told him, "I'm not moving with you. My mother and I are moving in together. We're not living with you."
Mhm. Yeah.
So
There's
he
there's so many
he was
questions.
under that impression, and that is her. That does lie at her feet. I mean, she does need to take responsibility for that because 1 minute she doesn't want to have him near her, but the
Yeah.
next minute she's giving him false hope. So it is what it is. Again, but the only thing that bothers me is that when people are making false statements, I don't like that. Let's stick to the facts.
Did somebody say, I thought I heard somebody say today, or they were quoting somebody who said, I don't know why either one of them would have wanted to stay in the relationship,
Yes.
that it was just that bad.
Yeah. It was toxic. I mean, we've covered enough trials, right? By now, where toxic relationships, something was going to happen, somebody was going to end up, dead. And would Doug have done something to
What
Ashley? I mean, we know what Ashley did to Doug. Jules, do you think it could have gone the other way? Do you think Doug could have done
Yes,
something?
I do. I think when you're in a toxic relationship, been there, done that. You saw the pictures last night, Chris.
I did.
I think eventually someone's gonna snap, whether it's whether it's the one that's abusing or the receiver of the abuse. Someone is gonna snap. What I have a problem with is no one believes in divorce anymore. It's like, let's just, chop the spouse up and throw them away and make believe that, I mean,
Yeah.
look, if
That's
it doesn't,
that's the new divorce is killing somebody. Death is the new divorce. Killing somebody is the new divorce. Here, hold on. I want to pull this one up. Let's see, where was it? Was it Johnny? Yeah, Gina. Yeah, there's a lot of Amber Heard vibes. People are saying, with Ashley, her and Amber, with the black eyes, and then when you look at it in that photograph, you look at you look at the photograph on one side of things, she doesn't have black eyes. You look at it on another side, she has black eyes. So it's like, I don't know. And then her testimony seemed a little off as well. I don't know. I agree with you, Jules. I'm like so on the fence with this one. Sam, help
I'm
me
on
out.
the fence. I'm on the fence.
I don't
Uh,
I can go either way on it.
Yeah.
I think being around a man who is always carrying, if he's going to shoot into the ceiling of my house, I'm going to have a problem with that. If he's
Yeah.
abusing my pets, I'm going to have a problem with that. That
Yeah.
says to me that's a person who likes to try intimidation and has a violence issue.
Yeah.
So then is it a stretch to feel that he abused her? No.
No, yeah.
But was the end like, yeah, I agree, like where people are just, they resort to such extremes anymore. I mean, I guess it's good for me, I'll have job security, but it's terrible for
Right. Okay, so Mandy, yes, Jody definitely puts them all to shame with her story for sure, and Amber with her story, that was just complete BS as well.
Yeah.
But okay, Travis was a dog; he didn't deserve to die. Johnny Depp didn't deserve what he got. Jorge, yeah, I'm sure he wasn't
There
kind
had to be some
to
truth
Sierra,
there.
but he didn't deserve to die. So Doug was not a saint. We get it, but did he deserve
Doug
to
was
die?
not a saint.
Yeah.
No, he was not a saint, but he didn't deserve to die.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's where I draw the line then, because I'm on the fence, and I'll always go back to this person may be horrible, but did they deserve to die? You can't take it
Well,
into
no one deserves to die.
well, unless
mean-
it is truly self-defense. If somebody's choking you out, then yeah, you have to fight back, and that person then does deserve to die because they're trying to kill you. So was Doug that's the ultimate question. Was Doug trying to kill Ashley at that moment? And we don't know. We'll never know. Because it's a he said, she said, and the he is not with us anymore.
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's getting late, guys. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask you, do you think it was good or bad that she didn't speak?
I'll take that one. I'll base that judging on her testimony during the trial. It's probably a good thing she didn't speak because that was a joke. Only because she couldn't explain it properly. There were holes left and right in her testimony. Her whole explanation of he was coming at me like this. I mean, it was like, really? What person comes at another person like that?
Mhm.
Was he coming like that? Was he coming like that? I mean, I think you would remember that if that truly happened. You would remember that.
Right.
So really, pull up that comment.
Which one?
Apparently, your friend in the chat has an issue with me.
What?
Okay, which
Nobody's
one?
keeping them here.
Name?
Which
right
one?
there.
Jules? Well,
we can't see
what
right
name? What name?
I cannot pronounce it, but they can't.
Oh,
This is
okay.
exactly why I can't listen to Jules.
Okay. All right.
Whatever.
Why can't you listen to Jules? I'm not going to call you out just yet. Just explain yourself, because we're courteous here and we're kind to each other. If you guys have a problem, that's cool,
right.
but let's not reduce it to name calling and all that. Just back that statement up.
This is not the first time, though, Chris. This is not the first time with this
All right.
particular person.
Well, let's resolve it like adults, and
but
let's not result to high school, guys. All right. We all have our opinions, and this is a very emotional case. I get it, but let's keep it cool. All right. It's interesting that this is so divisive. This case is so divisive.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm on the fence and I
Yeah.
stick to the facts, you know,
Mhm.
and that's that. But I have not made up my mind. It's a hard one. I have not made up my mind, and I probably never will where this is concerned.
Mhm.
Do I feel bad for the Benefield family? My heart hurts for them.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, the pain in their faces yesterday, that was real.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. At the end of the day, somebody's gone because of an action, whether right or wrong. That the family that is part of that person that is gone obviously feels that pain. They had nothing to do with it. Eva had nothing to do with what was going on in that interpersonal relationship. Tommy had nothing to do with it. All they know is the loss of and the brother. All they know is the loss of their loved one. So their pain is real for sure. Whether or not you think, like you said, Ashley is guilty or not guilty, you still have to look at the other side of the equation, which is a 22-year-old woman lost her father, at the hands of, I don't even think, was she even calling Ashley her stepmom? I don't think so.
No, no.
You know,
Look,
imagine her
look.
hate even more.
I mean, she didn't even know that they got married.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
Doug met her 9 months after her mother passed away, and then he brings her home and then goes upstairs to her room and says to her, uh, you need to come downstairs. I need to, we need to talk to you. And she thought that he was going that they were going to tell her, that they were dating. Uh, she never expected to go downstairs and find out that they were married, and they were married for 3 weeks.
Right.
She never did.
For as a child of parents who divorced and then remarried and then divorced and so on, the person I feel most for is Eva, because that is that kind of pain on top of losing your mother. Like, if you haven't been through a situation like that where parents are no longer together, which in my case I was thrilled for. I was not upset about that. But then it's hard to see your parents go and find someone else, because it's like they're choosing this other person over
Yeah.
you. And in this case, what Doug did by not including Ashley, or I'm sorry, Eva, I mean, I would have, oh my God, I would have been a psychotic mess if that had been done to me. And that was very manipulative on his part to not to bring her around 3 weeks after they were like, that was just that I guess maybe that paints a really negative image of him in my mind, the way that he handled that.
True, but did he deserve to die?
Oh, I'm not saying he deserved to die.
I always go back to that.
Does anybody deserve to die? I don't know the answer
Well,
to that question. My question is, and it just runs through my mind on a daily basis because of what I do. But I don't think you can answer what justice is. I think it's per the people who are a victim. Justice is different for each and every person. I don't know that, seeing a person go to death penalty versus being locked up their whole life or whatever. I don't know that that's justice or not justice. You know what I mean? Because it's not, it didn't happen to me.
right.
And I think it's an individual thing.
All
I
right.
don't know.
Two things. OnlyFans, it's a very ugly case. So it's interesting that my comment earlier about what made this, why are we even watching this? What made this such a national, trial, if you will? And I don't think they knew that at the beginning, Court TV, when they coined it. But now here I'm thinking back, here we are having this dialogue. It's very heated. People are passionate about it. And there aren't many other trials that we watch where, like, usually you're on one side or the other. Either you're like, yeah, this person's, look at Sarah Boone. I think 99 out of 100 people are going to say, yeah, she deserved what she got. Whereas I think probably most of us are like, we're on the fence. We just don't quite know it, and we're trying to sort that out. And I think that's where the passion is coming, and we're just trying to sort it out. So on one hand, I'm like, I asked, why is this even a trial that we're watching? But then on the other hand, I'm kind of glad we are, because it's really bringing up a lot of stuff for people. Hopefully positively. I know there's a lot of negativity out there, but hopefully we can work through that, and then the other thing is we're watching that documentary on the Menendez brothers. Man, I didn't follow it because I was way younger, obviously, in what, 92, 93, 4, 5.
90. They went to trial the first time right after OJ, so that was 94. It happened in 89.
Correct.
They didn't go to trial right after OJ.
So I didn't follow it back then because I was doing my thing. And then now we're watching this and we're about halfway through and I'm like, oh man, because I just got to the part of, what the dad did to them. And then I'm like, holy crap. Wow. So did that dad deserve to die? I don't know.
You don't want me to answer that.
If I were those kids, if I was on that jury, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to acquit you. Did they deserve to die? Maybe the mom not, but the dad, yeah. And even the prosecutor, we got to the point where the prosecutor was like, if there was one person on this planet that, or the planet's better off with this person not being on it, it was him. So, and the prosecutor couldn't find one person to come in and speak. What was the dad's name? Jose? Jules? Or,
Jose, yeah. I'm sorry, but again, this is really difficult for me to say, so forget it.
All right, skip it.
Yes.
Jenny, we are watching the one, it's a good one. It's on Netflix. It just came out, the Netflix, Menendez? Yeah. Yeah, they're talking from the jail. It's the first time that they've talked
There's a
together.
new one, yeah.
Yeah, it just came out a couple days ago, a week ago, whatever. I forget the name. It's like a 2-hour documentary on Netflix, and it's they are talking from the jail, and then they're interspersing, trial, and they have reporters from the day. They have the prosecutor. They have the witnesses that spoke during the trial, and they've revisiting it now. I forget the name, but it's definitely worth checking out if you have the chance. If you followed it, great. If you didn't follow it, even better, because I did not follow. I knew of it because it was in the headlines, of course, but I did not follow it.
And you've only just seen a little bit.
And I've only just seen a little bit. I would love. We're going to do a rewatch of that. We may do a rewatch, but we can't find the whole trial. Because that would be
the first trial was televised. The second trial was not. The judge would not allow cameras in the courtroom when they were tried the second time. And he also would not allow any of the SA into the trial. They weren't allowed. None of that was allowed to be brought up. And I think that was wrong.
I didn't even know there were
two. That's my opinion.
So wait, what happened with the first trial? They got hung jury?
It was a mistrial. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was a hung jury.
And then what was the time difference between 1 and 2? Like a couple years or a couple months, or do you remember?
I don't remember. I think it was less than a year.
Okay.
I believe it was under a year.
Yeah. All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. This is a long stream, so I really appreciate your stamina, both of you. I know it's getting late. I know it's getting late for me. Sam, Florida PI Sam, before you go, first of all, give us just general thoughts, opinions on either sentencing if you want to, and if not, that's cool as well. But I'll let you say what you want to say.
I think Sarah's going where she belongs. I I don't know. I don't know. I didn't follow Ashley Benefield enough in depth to say, yeah, they got it right, or yeah, or I think they got it wrong. I see both sides. I've heard both sides. I don't have a firm opinion on that, but
Mhm.
I'm going to break down sentencing, like in Florida. So go through the score sheets and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So if anybody's interested in the actual procedure, I'm going to do that.
And where can we find you, and when will you be doing that?
That will be on Saturday at what time do I normally do that? Like 7:15 on YouTube?
Yeah. Saturday night, date
Yeah.
night.
Yeah, it's date night. Like I
Date
said, I'm
night with
gonna
Florida.
come with like actual pre-recorded content beginning the first of the year. But Saturday I'm going to bring the score sheet and the guidelines, and my colleague, I may ask him to speak because he went to a plea today that the guys guidelined out to 111 years.
Wow,
That's crazy.
that is crazy.
But that's what 110 counts of child inappropriate materials will get you, apparently.
Right. Yeah, I was going to bring up the score. What's it called?
Score sheet. It's a score sheet.
Yeah.
That's what we would call it.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up earlier, maybe an hour ago, and something happened, and I did not. But anyway, so
That's what we'll talk about on Saturday. So if anybody
perfect.
wants to, I'll put a post up if people have questions they want to ask ahead of time, or or anybody could email me at it's just floridapicam@gmail. That's what I'm going to do is address Florida sentencing at least and try to explain the process to some extent, because every time we're going through some of these cases, people are asking about it. So I figure I'll just try to teach that.
Yeah, wasn't it Kranick that actually went through the score sheet? Was it him or White? They should have both, but I think Kranick actually
I
talked
don't
about.
recall that. I recall him saying that she guidelined out to the bottom, which was at the time 22.5, and then he and Owens got into it and said Owens said it was 20.5. But if like right now my score sheet's 0, knock on wood, because I have no convictions. It's just like when your driver's license that you start accumulating points, but then different crimes are worth different points. The more points, the more time, and it's all codified by statute here. So I'll try to make it interesting, but I just want people to generally understand. And then, if people have any questions about anything, I'm always interested in talking to them.
Yeah, no, I'm fascinated by that because I think that's brilliant, because to me it keeps a judge in check. The judge can't say, I don't like you, you're getting life. You can't
Right.
do
So
that.
one of the things that we often are telling people is like, okay, you don't want to take this plea that they're offering you, right? Let's say they're offering you 15, where the bottom of the guidelines is like a Sarah, say, right? And you're at 20 something. If you take the plea and you take the conditions, whatever it is, you're getting some leeway. Whereas if you go to trial and the judge finds you guilty, or the jury finds you guilty in the state of Florida, the judge does not have room for sentencing. You go by the score sheet. I've not seen, Dr. Barry's got a good channel. I have not seen much in the way of downward departures here. So that was interesting to see that judge go through that. I'm going to look at that statute. But that's the risk you take here, is if you are convicted, that's going to go by the score sheet. Whereas if you take a deal, you may have a chance at something lesser.
Right. Agreed. Jules, do you want to
Well, I want to give a shout out a shout out to Dr. Berry. I
Yeah.
enjoy her very, very, very much. And I was happy to see that she was in the chat. So that was nice to see. Another shout out on there that I think she's awesome. Dr. Berry is. In any case, another shout out. I'm sure everyone has heard about the Justin Root case up in Massachusetts. Just so you know, I'm not going to reveal her handle, but Justin Root's sister has been in the chat tonight. So thank you for coming. And I am, as far as Sarah is concerned, I think she got what she deserved. You know, the jury spoke, the judge spoke. As far as I'm concerned, it's done. It's over. As far as Ashley Benefield is concerned, again, I respect what a jury does, whether I agree with the jury or I don't agree. I'm not saying I don't agree with the jury. What I'm saying is I respect what the jury does. So the jury spoke, the judge sentenced her, and you know, I've got to respect it. And that's that. I just feel sorry for everyone involved, where the Benefields are concerned. Where Sarah's concerned, I don't feel anything for her whatsoever. I feel for the Torres family.
Yeah. Jules, do you want to, I agree with you 100%. Before I let you go, Jules, do you want to just tell people where they can find you if they want to follow you and listen more?
I mean, I have a TikTok, but I'm going to be honest with you. I have not done a whole lot this past year on it. So, I mean, you're welcome to go over there and give me a follow and check out some of my videos. But again, I haven't done a whole lot. I probably will now because there isn't anything to attend until the end of February. But I am on Twitter. So you can follow me there if you want. I mean, I don't know. But before we go, if you all didn't hit that like button, please do so now because it really helps Chris and Aaron. And even when the stream is over, if you enjoyed tonight's content, please leave a comment under the video because that also helps Chris and Aaron. They're trying to grow this channel. This is a great family we have here. And I want to see Chris and Aaron soar. So the only way that's going to happen is everybody's got to hit that like button. And after the stream is over, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section.
Thank you for that, Jules. And we will comment back. It's not like that's going to go into a vacuum. We will comment back. It may take us a day or two, but we will actually get back to you. All right, Jules, Florida PI Sam, thank you so much for joining us. Chat, stick around. I'll say goodnight to you individually. And I'll let you guys go for now. Sam, we'll see you on Saturday. And Jules, we'll talk to you as always, probably tomorrow or later tonight. Same with you, Sam. All right. And Jules is gone.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night then.
You too.
Okay. All right, chat. That concludes another, really fun, engaging night with me, the Squeegee of Justice. Thank you for all the new people. There's so many new people in the chat. I love it. I'm looking forward to getting to know you. Please come back for our lives. We're doing rewatches. Tomorrow, we're going to pick back up on Nancy Brophy because we don't have... Oh, Lori Vallow. I'm so sorry. We are going to do Lori Vallow tomorrow. And then we also have to work on our appeal for YouTube that demonetized us. Clips and Vixen. And of course, our tech boots on the ground, allowing us to have direct access to the court trial TV live. Yes. So thank you guys for joining us. I want to thank Erin, who is behind the scenes. She runs so many things. You guys have no idea. Dr. Patrice Berry. Great coverage, trial live. I'm catching about at the Benefield case, and the doctor social worker seems biased in your opinion. Yeah. Yeah, I would love to pick your brain. Thanks, Chad. I'm new to this channel. I saw Jules post about this live on X, and I am a new sub here. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And at some point, we would love for you to come on and we can talk. I would love to hear your opinions on some of these cases. You can hit us up. Aaron's gonna drop it in the chat right now, Dr. Berry. You can email us info ads coming up in the chat, and I'll pull it up. You want to pull it up, or you'll pull it up. So if you guys like what you see, you can support us by you already subscribed, so we get that. But yeah, comment, hit the notification bell so you get notified when we do go live. If you want to, we are also on Patreon. You can become a member there because we did get demonetized for not being unique enough for YouTube. That was right before Thanksgiving, so we're working on that appeal. But you can support us on Patreon, become a member. We're also on Venmo, and also buy me a cup of coffee, and that's in the descriptions if you guys want to do that. We would appreciate that. But we just like you being here. And you guys, we're building a really great community, and I know things got a little heated tonight. But just remember, just be courteous to each other. We love you. We want to hear all sides. I'm not here to say it's one side, one way or the other. Oops, I just turned my mic off. I'm not here to say it's one way or the other. You guys can disagree with each other, but do it respectfully, please. Hear each other out. I don't want this to turn into high school. All right. We're not going to have bullies. We're not going to, be that group. We're not going to be that chat. We've built a really great community. We have 5,063 subscribers. We just hit 5,000 Monday. And we just gained 63 in the last 48 hours. So we're growing. Our mods are fantastic. We have OnlyFan, Julie, therapist Jules is a mod for us. Dr. Rachel, who is not in our chat tonight. Brat, Unbalanced Equation.
Julie.
I said Julie. Yep. Therapist. So therapist. Yep. I think I got all of our great mods. Dr. Barry. Oh, congratulations. Yes, therapist, last day of school. Wishing you the best with licensure process. Oh, I used to supervise LPC residents before the Virginia board changed the requirements. All right. Well, that's cool. And therapist, you are graduating on the 13th, 14th, next Saturday, 2 Saturdays from now. So we will have a big virtual party for you. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Again, just be kind to each other, be courteous, respect each other. That's what we're building here. That's the community we're building here. We have over 5,000 people subscribed. We want to continue that, and we want to just make sure that you guys, who are our cornerstone, continue that on. So when new people come in, just keep that vibe going. Keep that going. So on that, I love you guys. And tomorrow we will be streaming Lori Vallow's. She has a hearing, a competency hearing. And then we're going to take the rest of the day off and work on our appeal for YouTube. That's due on Friday. And then we have to figure out what's going on. We have Nancy Brophy. That's a rewatch. We're going to pick up on that again. And as always, if another trial comes in, which it always does, we'll jump in on that too. So with that, good night, guys. And I will see you down the road. See ya.